Yes, people, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to Blue Diaries, people. Episode 32, bruv. It's crazy. You know what I mean? We're nearly at episode 50, bruv, which is mad. You know, it's just a vision I put together for these, man. You know, these are my Chelsea brothers, man. We're always going back and forth in the group chat and whatnot. You know what I mean? Hopefully this means that Jem gets his fucking YouTube back. We need you back. We need you back like the old days, man.
I need to change it up. Yeah, that's happening. That
definitely, bro. Definitely, man. But listen, we've got a nice little light show today. Obviously, we're going to speak about the whole Sancho situation. Should Chelsea sign Jadon Sancho? This is definitely a topic which has split a lot of people within the fan base. And I'll be real, I'm mainly seeing a lot of people saying just send him back. You already know how it is, bro. Fans are fickle. If we asked this question in January or before January, everyone will be saying keep him. You know, all of a sudden now it's get rid of him, right? And we're definitely going to do like a ranking as well for the players' performances this season. You guys can definitely interact with us in the chat as well. Let us know what you think about our rankings and whatnot. But what both of you saying? First of all, Az, let me go to you. Let the people know why your camera's not on today, bro.
Listen, bro, it's a flu game for me, innit? Man's under the weather. I had a gum inflammation over the weekend, so like my lips like 3 times the size. It's a bit mad. Hurts to smile, even more to laugh. But we're here, man. I didn't want to miss the show. I had to be here for my boy. We're trying to get through it, man. That's it. That's what it is.
Come on. You know what I mean? The streets are calling him Reece, bro. Reece James and that. You know, the other day, man had a dislocated shoulder. Now it's his lip. What's next, bro? You know what I mean?
Bro, nothing's next, bro. Man is not injury prone. It's just, a rough period. It's a rough period of form, innit? It is what it is. But man's still here. Again, the best ability is availability, and man is still here, innit? So, listen, put some respect on your boy's name.
I hear it, man. How about you, Jim? What you saying, man? What's the buyer saying? Looks hot out there.
Very hot. 35 degrees, can't complain. I just wake up to sun every day. Oh, it's lovely, guys. I can't complain. It's a good life.
Yeah. Now I hear it, bro. But listen, let's get straight into it, man. Straight into this Sancho news. Obviously, we've got we've been seeing a few rumors from multiple outlets that Chelsea have put a fee in the contract where we can send him back. You know what I mean? And Ornstein came out the other day with a bomber that Chelsea must pay United 5 million if Jadon Sancho loan is not turned permanent in the summer. The 24-year-old winger left United on temporary basis with a buy obligation worth up to 25 M's, but Chelsea can opt out for a set fee. Let me go straight to you, Jem, because you in the group earlier, you were saying, yo, listen, I need to speak about Sancho. I think a lot of the people know my thoughts on Sancho, but I'll speak briefly on him. I think this is someone that's started the season off well for us, and was playing really well. And he's felt it off as well as the rest of the team. I don't think it's the biggest problem in the team. I think there's a massive problem in terms of the squad building here where we haven't got a striker to help him. We haven't got overlapping fullbacks to help him. And he's in a situation right now, bro, where we're having to play him every single game when this guy is a squad player. He shouldn't be playing every game, right? It's not his fault that Mudrik's not here. It's not his fault that Tyreek George isn't being trusted more than him, right? Because for me, I would start George on the left and I'd start Sancho on the right, So many things here in it. There isn't just one reason why Sancho isn't, hasn't really worked out at this moment in time. Because him himself, bro, he needs to shoot more. He's not shooting enough. He needs to be more direct. He's not being direct enough. But, what's your take on this Sancho situation, bro? If it's up to you, would you send him back?
No, is the answer to that. Me and Nads had a little discussion about it yesterday, actually. And I think it's worth... Our fan base, especially on social media, suffer from a short-term memory loss, I call it, because they've done the same thing with Enzo Fernandez last season as well. It's like it's the easy name to sort of scapegoat a little bit when things ain't going the way they should. And I find it very weird when you compare them to the other wingers that we do have available, how much we spent on them, stuff, yeah. And I just want to go back in time because I feel like it's one of them things where people will someone says it on Twitter. And then the majority jump on top of it. And then all of a sudden, everyone's minds, instead of thinking for themselves, what they do is they just, he's not good enough. Let's send him back. They don't think about what happened earlier on in the season. And when you look at where we started earlier on in the seasons, guys, 14th of September. 14th of September was when we played Bournemouth away. That was a poor game overall, okay? Poor game. Sancho came on for a cameo for about 20, 30 minutes, assisted in Kunku, right? And was probably one of our best players in that short space of time. In fact, he might have even got man of the match. I can't remember in that game. But it was a poor game overall. But he came on and he changed that game. And next game after that was West Ham away, where we won 3-0. Okay? He didn't score. But he still was one again up there with a very good performance and probably one of our best players off the pitch again on that position. Then we went and played Brighton. Where we won 4-2. And if you all remember, it was the Cole Palmer day, 3-4 goals, looked all good. But don't forget, Sancho was the one that got the penalty. Sancho was again heavily involved in what was very good on the day against Brighton, and we won. Then we got to Nottingham Forest, where, in fact, Ads reminded me yesterday, we drew that game. Madueke was the one that scored and probably was one of the best on there. But equally, Sancho had a very game. So we saw, what have we seen here? We've seen a period of short consistency of a player coming into the team and playing well over 4 to 5 games. Okay. Then we get to Liverpool away. He drops a bit of a man. He wasn't good. He gets dropped. Yeah, he gets dropped. Now he gets dropped. And all of a sudden, Man United fan rivals and some Chelsea fans are all saying, oh, here we go. Same thing again with Sancho. Where is he? He's disappeared. Oh, my God. This is the Sancho we know. October the 20th, and then November the 28th or 29th, he returns. So for nearly over a month, when Maresca dropped him after that Liverpool away game where he didn't have a good game, he didn't play. He came back on the 28th against Heidenheim in the Europa League, okay? We won. The game right after that, when we played, which was going into Christmas, was Aston Villa at home. If you remember, he played. We won 3-0. It was an overall very good performance. And guess who was very, very involved again? Jadon Sancho.
Did he play on the right that game, or did he play on the left?
Yeah, his ratings were good. He was. That was a good game overall from the team. Don't you remember? We sat here saying every player was really good that game. Yeah. Then we went to Southampton. Then we went to Southampton away. We won 5-1. They went down to 10 men, and he scored in that game. Okay. Then we went to Tottenham away. He scored the first goal. Had a very good performance against them. Yeah.
Yeah.
After that Tottenham game, we went to Brentford. Okay. We went to Brentford. We just about won that game, but again, he equally was probably one of our best performing wingers on the day. And you could see from then on after that, so coming up to Christmas Day, when we played Everton and we drew 0-0, do you remember that game? Yeah. What happened? We created chances, but guess who was missing the chances? Nicholas Jackson. He missed the chances against Everton. He missed the chances against Fulham, where we lost 2-1. He missed the chances against Palace, where we drew 1-1. Yeah. And that's when it all started happening down. And then Jackson got injured and he was gone. Yeah. And then we started trajectorying down. Right. But my point being why I went through all that is because some people are so short when it comes to memory loss, very short-minded. Okay. Yeah. What I'm trying to get at is this. He's going to cost us either 5 million to send him back, or he's going to cost us 20 million just to keep him for another season. I can see João Felix and Nkunku going before him. And from what I've seen in them periods, even though I would still want a lot more consistency for him, yeah, he ain't no Eden Hazard. He ain't going to have that burst of space and beat players and create and carry the team. We know that. We all knew what it was when we bought him, okay? But if you're going to say to me, we're going to pay 20 million to keep him, and then the board go and sort out, and listen, by the way, when I say go, they need to, because I'm on them this summer, yeah? Goalkeeper and striker, yeah, which means that the levels of our team improve even more, because if we do have injuries, we'll have Jackson to be able to play or whatever. It should get better. In a functioning team, Jadon Sancho has shown us already that he can play, providing everyone's in their positions. If we have a striker, if we have players around him that are functioning, Jadon Sancho's performed. The only time he stopped performing was the Liverpool game when none of them played very well when he got dropped. And then when we lost our striker, and then all of a sudden we had to put Pedro Neto up front, who's a winger, by the way, and had to just, the whole chemistry was gone. And Nkunku couldn't play there. So my point being, yes, he could be doing better. But in terms of what we've seen from him this season up to this point, and we've still got a bit of the end of the season as well, he has functioned very well in a team that functions well with players in their positions. And he's played well. So why would we not just keep him for another season? If he doesn't perform, guess what the next happening in the season after? Quendia's arriving. He'll probably play off the left. But like Don said,
Quendia,
yeah. That guy, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
At the end of the day, we haven't got any choice to sit here and stop scapegoating Sancho when Mudrik's not even available. We ain't got no choice. We're going to get rid of Nkunku and Felix. So at the end of the day, who have we got off the left other than Sancho at this moment in time? Tyreek George?
Yeah, so I'll be real. I'd rather play George there, bro, because for me, Sancho's better off the right. And that's something that I need Maresca to do, bro, right? I need Sancho to have a run of games on the right, yeah? And you're spot on, Jem, about what you're saying, bro, because you're being fair, you're being balanced, right? A lot of people have had their reservations about Sancho from the moment he stepped through the door. A lot of people were complaining at the time, bro. Why are we bringing in another guy that we have to save? I hear all of that, but I'm gonna be so real, bro. This guy has been effective to an extent in the team. Let's not act as if he's done nothing for us, bro. Right? Like there's someone in the chat that just said it a second ago as well. Big up Lowe's, right? I don't know if I think that's a she. So she says here he gets robbed off for a lot of assists. Same at Dortmund and United. You need a world-class striker to finish his chances. There's one chance, ads. I don't know if you remember it, right? That he gave to Jackson. I think it was against Fulham, and Jackson just kicks it over the bar. The guy's not even ready for the ball, and Sancho like, there's that picture of Sancho when he's just looking like this, like when he's hanging on to the side. That was after that miss, bro, right? Because he's thinking in his head, yo, how the fuck have you not scored that? You know what I mean? So if we had players that were more clinical, right? Sancho's season's looking completely different because people go look at the numbers and they'll be like, oh, at least he's got 6 assists, he's got 7 assists. He might not have as many goals, but he's actually contributing to the attack. But what it is right now, we haven't got enough players up there that are consistently contributing. And like I've said, bro, we're asking a lot from him because unfortunately, he's just not that good to be starting every game. I'll be so real. He's just not that good to be starting every single game, bro.
I mean, it's funny, right? Because this is kind of the consensus view on Sancho online. If you check, it's, oh, he's got a goal, he's a bum. Oh my God, 5 million to get rid of him. We'll take that in a heartbeat. And it's funny, now I end up on a panel where we kind of all in agreement that that's grossly overdone and we probably should keep him. At least that's what it sounds like we're all leaning towards. And I think for me, again, Jem had a perfect recount of what happened this season with him, and he articulated it perfectly. Again, when the team has been good and functioning well, usually you have Sancho adding to that, and he's a good part of that. He's a good component and a good cog to the system. Obviously, my issue more with Sancho, just as a player, is he only seems like a good cog in a wheel when everything's functioning well. Like when everything's going great, cool, Sancho can come in and do that and be part of a team where, you know, it's going well, and your main gunslingers in your Palmers and the striker, if they're doing well, then Sancho's going to eat off of that as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like when other players aren't performing, he can't rise it himself. He can't get the ball and create a moment of magic out of nowhere. That's not really his bag, which is unfortunate. I feel like I wish he had more of that in his game because we've seen it at times. We saw it against Tottenham. When we were down 1-0 and they were kind of on top of us in that derby, he did a moment out of magic. Like, out of nowhere, got the ball touchline, ran up the pitch, cut inside, put it bottom corner. Great goal. Mm-hmm. You think even the assist against Palace for that Palmer goal, where he's dummied it past the fullback against Munoz, who's no slouch, by the way, gets onto the end of it, draws in free man, plays it into Palmer, he gets the goal, they do the cold celebration after that. It was all great, right? But again, we don't see moments like that from Sancho enough, which is why I get it. I do get why fans get onto him, because a lot of fans, modern day fans, they love the all action kind of players who are a lot more hustle and bustle. They run around. They don't pull out a 50-50s, because that's another thing that people are onto Sancho about. And I am too. Like, you can't be pulling out a 50-50s on a weekly basis. Like, that's just bad. That's not a good look. But again, people are almost too onto him because he doesn't do that side of the game. He doesn't run as fast as other players and all of that stuff. But again, for me, you have to understand the player that's in front of you. You have to understand the attributes that they bring to the table, and what he brings to the table is effective when the team is actually functioning well. So for me, all of that being said, this is a £25 million player in terms of what we have. He's not 100 million that United signed him for or whatever. For us, he's a £25 million player. And if you look at the market and how many players we'd have to sign who are going to cost way more than that just to be a backup, for me, why would we not want to keep him if we're going to go and sign a proper left winger in the summer to be our starter? Because if you have a starter who you spend 70-80 million on, and you have Sancho as a backup who costs 25, that for me is fine.
By the way, and Tyreek George as well.
Yeah, I mean, if he stays around, then that's cool too. Because again, we're going to get a lot of money coming in from the likes of, you know, Felix leaving, potentially Nkunku leaving.
We might even have to get rid of Mudryk. Like, let's be serious. We don't know what's going on with that guy.
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth, because that guy, that drug cheat, needs to get out of my club ASAP. So listen, if we get rid of him, that guy we signed for 80 million odd compared to Sancho for 25 million, like, that's a no-brainer. So for me, keeping him isn't a big deal. Like, I don't get why people are so. I mean, I get it. People just have this agenda against Sancho, and it just is what it is.
It's very driven by the Man United fan base, because what people got to bear in mind, and Chelsea fans on Twitter more than anything, is that these guys got burned. They bought him on the back of his performances at Dortmund and thought he was going to work, right? He didn't. He got mismanaged. It didn't work. And we bought him off him. And now they're trying to make it look like we gaslighted this deal. No, we didn't gaslight this deal. We basically knew what he was, and we just knew that we could get more out of him than they could. And that's been proven. So at the end of the day, he might not be consistent in his performances and that, and they point at GA all the time. But guess what? actual team still suffering when we have injuries because we're not balanced in our attack, and that's been proven. So you can't be moaning about a 20 million odd pound player and scapegoating him because we're not winning games because he's not Eden Hazard or skipping past players and doing things because it's not his game. That's not what we bought him for. He's a squad player. He brings the same that we don't have. I think in final third execution, I think he's very good in them tight spaces and playing in them balls into tight spaces. And I think we should give him a chance at least another season. If he's shit and it don't work and it gets to when the others come, then you can sell him on. But it's 20 mil. It's low risk. What does it matter?
And again, just to add one last point. Again, we've seen him when this team was functioning, he was performing well. Now we've not been functioning. We've had injuries. Cool, he's not doing his part. I'm not going to give him a full blight for that, but it's a common trend because when he was at United, when they were dysfunctional as all hell, he was obviously rubbish. But we saw at Dortmund before he went to United, he was very good, putting up great numbers, doing it in the Champions League as well. Then when he moved on to Dortmund back on loan, man got to a Champions League final, was balling out. The same Nuno Mendes that locked up Salah.
He cooked the
exactly the same guy who locked up Salah twice. Man dropped to Champions League record for dribbles past man in the semi-final. Tied with Lionel Messi. So listen, this guy for 25 million, it's not gonna be such a bad signing for me at all.
That's what I mean, bro. It's absolute peanuts because when I'm looking at who we can actually bring in to replace him, right, bro, I'm struggling for names, right? Who are you gonna bring in for 25 million? That's gonna come in and be happy to just kind of be a squad player and can offer us what he offers us, right? Because Sancho isn't inexperienced. He's got a lot of experience. Yeah, he might not be a seasoned winner. You know what I mean? He won stuff at Dortmund and whatnot. Ideally, I'd love him to win stuff in England, but he's won stuff here and there. We've seen what this guy can do with a striker as well. You know, big up Mr. HD. It says if Gil didn't get hurt, you think Sancho would have looked better with that focal point up top? 100%. I think he would have looked better. I think Neto would have looked better. I think Madueke would look better. You know, all these guys, bro, they're always looking up to play to someone. And you look at Jackson at times, and bro, the guy's nowhere near the box, right? Guys like Gil, you're already seeing, bro. When we played West Ham, and Gil and Neto came off the bench, those two helped us change the game. Because straight away you're seeing where Gil, the positions he's taking up, he's pushing the centre backs back. He's always aiming he's always looking at the winger to whip it in for him so he can get his head on it. Yeah. If you guys remember the goal he scored in the Conference League when he scored the hat-trick, that header was not easy, bro. Yeah, that was Madueke that whipped it in for him. That was not an easy header that he scored. And they're the sort of things that, you know, Sancho would be doing for him in terms of the creativity as well as Neto. So for me, this team can still get to another level. There's so many players that I feel like we've only seen like 60% of what they can do, right? Because we've actually taken their strengths away from them. One of the main strengths that Sancho has is playing with a target man, bro. The best Sancho I saw at United was when he was playing with Ronaldo, right? When I would see Ronaldo playing with Sancho, Ronaldo loved playing with him, bro. You know what I mean? He loved playing with him, bro.
He's a creator. He's a born creator. That's why he can create in tight spaces, you know? He's the problem solver.
He can create, and his first thought, the thing I like about Sancho, even if he's not that direct on the ball, his first thought with the ball, most of the time, is to go forward. If you guys remember the goal he scored against Bournemouth, he picked up the ball. He played very well in that game. He did actually get man of the match as well, Jim. I was listening, right? On my way downstairs. He got man of the match in that game. But in order for us to get that goal, he just punched it into Nkunku. Very nice pass, right? The weight of pass. Nkunku did the rest. But that's what Sancho likes to do. He's a progressive player, right? He's a facilitator. Yes, there's so many things he can do differently, bro. He needs to shoot more. You know, he shot the other day. He shot the other day. That was his first shot in the year. Like, I'm sorry, that's pathetic, bro.
And he's a good shooter too.
He's a good shooter. He said it himself, bro.
He doesn't do it enough, though. He doesn't do it enough. And look, there's parts to his games that he does need to work on, especially with the goals elements of it, because we do need wingers to contribute more. But, you know, whether that comes later on or doesn't, I still think that there's a good player in him in terms of what he brings. And I think what he brings is something that we don't actually have currently at the moment. And like you said, like, he shouldn't be starting every game, because in some games, we need direct speed. We need to be getting in behind. We need people that can burst. You're not going to do that with Sancho, you know, but we don't have no choice. We have no choice. What is he going to do?
The perfect example of why this guy's a squad player. When we played Brighton the second time, after they beat us the first time, or embarrassed us even, right? Madueke and Neto started on the wings. And if you guys remember, we actually started the game off quite well. Madueke was running at them and then he got injured. Then Sancho came on. When Sancho came on, I said, yeah, man, I'm not even looking at Sancho here because I'm not expecting much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're playing a high line. I just know he's not going to take man on. He came on, he's cutting in. You know what I mean? Maresca puts him on the left instead of playing him on the right. You know, he played Neto on the left that game, right? So, like Tawa says, big up Tawa for this. Sorry, he says, I'm for Sancho, but 25 million could get you a Mavididi who suits the system slightly better. And bro, Mavididi, bro, listen, he does suit the system better than Sancho in all honesty, right? He's not as technical as Sancho, but when I was doing my research on Maresca last season, I'm watching Mavididi and Fatao, bro. The way they were taking man on, it was no surprise that they had the most completed take-ons in the championship last season, bro. Because they are very direct. They like this sort of system. So ads like, do you think that this system is too hard for Sancho? Is it worth taking that risk? Because we're saying Sancho needs all these things. But at the same time, we need wingers that are able to just run past people, bro. You know what I mean?
It's interesting, right? Because you look at Neto when he's played on the left, like the link up that he has with Cucurella at times is awful. And I get it. When there's open space and it's a transitional game, then it does suit having someone who can be more direct. So I do hear that. And obviously, that point about if we could, let's say, get someone like Mavidi for 20, 25 million, then that now makes me think, okay, you know what? Maybe that could be worth it because he does naturally suit the system more. Because I feel like Maresca, again, provided there's no meltdowns or there's no, crazy fall-offs, he's going to be manager at least for next season and the season after, right? So we have to kind of build the team in his image. So maybe there's a case for getting someone like a Mabadidi as a backup to whoever the main left winger is going to be for next season. Then maybe there's a case for that. But I still feel like with Sancho, at least he offers you something different. Because maybe there are certainly games where you're playing against a low block and it just suits having someone like him who can be a bit of a playmaker from a wide area. So for me, I think he can work in the system. You also need more from the left back when he overlaps at times. I think Cucurella can be given more license to give him the width so that Sancho can operate in like a left inside channel at times a bit more. So these things can be also within the system.
Why do you think Maresca stops doing that? Like the best Sancho we saw was when he was linking up with Enzo and Cuckoo, bro. That triangle, I called it a triangle start of the season. They were linking up well in that left space, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, and it's one of the biggest frustrations with Maresca because he's changed a few things here and there, but some of the changes that I wanted to see him implement in the team, he's not done. Because you made a perfect case, bro, earlier when you're talking about how you would have liked to have seen Sancho play right wing at time, and for me, during this time when we've had injuries, it would have much preferred us having George left, Sancho right, but then you overlap a fullback. That would have been perfect for Sancho. Having Reece James overlap Sancho on the right wing, that's cash money. That's absolutely cash money, but how the manager hasn't seen this and implemented it is his own problem. So again, we can talk about players and things a lot because again, they are the most important people. They're the ones on the pitch who win you or lose you games. But the manager can still set these guys up in a better way to get them more out of them and more out of their skill sets.
Facts.
He did play Sancho on the right, didn't he? He won the penalty for Parma, didn't he? He had a good first half actually. Who was that against recently? That was our last game.
Leicester. He was good against Leicester. Yeah, could have won 2 or 3 points.
Even that goal that we scored in the conference, Mudrik's goal, the sick goal where Sancho just cut back, that was from the right. When he came on against Morecambe, that was on the right. You see what I mean? I'm shaking him already. That was on the right. For me, I've always preferred Sancho on the right. That's why when I saw the links initially, I said, bro, we don't really need him. We've got a lot of right wingers. And then a few people were telling me, oh yeah, he can play on the left and that. I said, bro, I know he can play on the left, but I don't really like him there. I feel like he's a little bit too limited on that side. I've always preferred this guy on the right, even when he was at Dortmund. And you saw what he did on the right in the Champions League final and whatnot, bro. Yeah. And obviously against PSG as well. But yeah, bro. I
wonder how good he'd be in a 10, just receiving the ball and playing them balls quickly.
You know what? This is something I was saying, bro. I was saying this with a friend the other day. Like, again, Palmer's out injured and all this stuff, right? And why can't someone like Sancho be used in that middle area? Because there's times we're playing Enzo there, but it's clear to me that we need Enzo deeper. And obviously, maybe there's something we'll get onto maybe before like a Tottenham preview or whatever. But there's times that if we haven't got Palmer there, Sancho isn't being direct enough on the wing. Why not play him in the 10 and then bring Enzo further back? So again, this is on the manager. Like, find different ways to get more out of these players because Sancho's skill set, it's not like he can't play there. Of course he can play there. He's got the technical ability to play as a 10. It's just managers don't trust him there for whatever reason. But for me, that's on them. That's not a him issue. That's when the managers actually trusted him to play somewhere else.
Let me read Keith's comment. Big up Keith for this. Guys, what is the problem with managers overthinking? George is a left winger. James is not a midfielder. Neto not a left winger. And that bum Sanchez, Maresca's, I'm not going to say that word, but you guys can see what he said there. But one thing that I've seen a lot of discourse with the whole Reece James midfield situation, right? And for me, I'm not overdoing it on that side of things. Like, you guys know that I don't like Reece in midfield. From day one, I've said to you guys, he's not a midfielder. I feel like he thinks on his feet whilst he's playing there. Whereas when you're playing in midfield, you need to know what you want to do before you even receive the ball. Like when he's on the ball in there and he's like got his balance, got his bearings together, you see him play some nice passes and it adds more physicality in there. But for me, I think the main reason why it's being played there, bro, is because Lavia hasn't been fit, you know. But there's a lot of people now that are taking Maresca's words and are saying, oh, he now sees him as a midfielder, right? But for me, bro, I honestly think that when Lavia comes back, I highly doubt Reece will be a midfield. I think you're going to see him go back into the position that we've seen him this season. What do you think? Do you think he's going to?
I think there's.
Still?
I think you got to read into what Thomas Tuchel said as well when he was what he said after. I saw that bit when he said about utilising Reece James, and he said they said, "Do you see him as a midfielder?" And he said, "It depends who we're up against. Because if we're up against a team that's going to attack space in midfield very well, then he ain't your guy. He ain't someone that's going to cover the space and be able to say it's very dependent on who we're up against. If we're up against a low block, then he feels that that's probably the right way to use him. But Reece James's best position has always been up and down the wing, even for us. If you remember the goal, and it was one of the only times I remember Maresca playing him, he played off the right wing, and I can't remember who it was. He whipped the ball in, and Jackson was at the back post, and he hit it in first time on the volley. Do you remember? He cleared the goalie and everything. It was like a peach of a cross to the back post. I can't remember who that team was, but you could clearly see that something like that would actually enhance Maresca's system if he actually took that decision to do that. But I think there's also the scare of his body and what we know about his body and how injury prone he can be in overdoing it. So I think there's a case of let's be careful with him because we want him in the team. We want to keep him fit. So maybe we have to adapt the way that he plays, meaning that he doesn't cover the grass as much more and we utilize these skills in different areas. But then in the midfield, I find it very hard for him to get the ball and play them pingy balls that he likes doing. Off the wing, he seems to be able to do that a lot more. And when players see Reece James on the right with the ball at his feet, they make him runs because they know he's going to find them. Do you know what I mean? We missed that as well. So I don't know why Maresca thinks it's the best way forward at the moment, other than maybe just protecting his body still. But I think going forward, if we're going to go back to the overlap thing, Reece James is 10 times better than Gusto at crossing and overlapping.
Of course. Yeah. I just found it funny. I found it funny at how Tuchel was, because obviously we've seen Reece start in midfield against Villa and against Arsenal. But again, I think that was more to do with the fact that he doesn't want to trust Amugu right now, right? And obviously Lavia hasn't been there, bro. If Lavia was fit, Reece ain't playing ahead of him in that midfield, right? But I found it funny, like I said, as obviously we watched England yesterday, and you saw Tuchel literally inverting Reece, bro. Right, he was used very, very similar to how Tuchel's been using it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like again, Tuchel even said it in the post-match press conference that against teams like Latvia, where they're not pressing you and it's quite you're already like in their half, so you don't need like a double pivot. That's why they played with Rice and then they had Bellingham and Rodgers, who were 210s. You wouldn't do that against Spain, right? But against Latvia, you can get away with it. And obviously, you have then Reece invert into midfield next to Rice, and it makes sense because again, Reece from there, we've seen it. He can give you a long shot. He can chip balls in behind. He can be effective there, right? And he's obviously a good footballer. We all know this. But his bread and butter is being a fullback, being able to overlap, whipping those crosses, give you moments of magic out wide, and also he can defend. He can go both ways. He isn't just a trend. He isn't a glass cannon. He can do it both ways. And again, I don't know. It was kind of hipster-ish when I was hearing Maresca talk about, oh yeah, I've been watching James for a long time, since Wigan days. I've always seen him as a midfielder. I'm like, brother, like, just allow it, bro. Allow it. Reece James, bro. Like, allow it.
People need to just take what Maresca says with a pinch of salt, bro. Right? Like, it was a clear indication. The guy was banging on about, I've not been told about top four. Then all of a sudden, when the pressure's on, no, we've known from day one that top four is the must. Like, when he says things, bro, honestly, look at your phone and keep scrolling. Don't let him rattle you. Don't let that baldy rattle you, bro. That's what
I hear it, but at the same time, I hear it. And again, this is why I've also said to you before that, like, he's not great at press conferences, which is obviously because he's a rookie, right? He needs to improve at that. His press conference game needs to improve. But again, I was mad at it because we're actually seeing it. We're actually seeing him put Reece in midfield when I feel like we're clearly lacking something in the right back area, overlapping, and our main right wingers aren't fit in terms of Noni. Tononi's not fit. Our best right winger available is Sancho, but he's not like a touchline winger in that sense. He likes to come inside. So why not have him right wing cut inside, Reece James overlap, Bob's your uncle? Like, that's a good fit. But we've not been doing that. We've been doing the Reece James inside thing, and he's playing in midfield just to have 95% pass accuracy, but most of it sideways and backwards is safe. I don't need Reece James doing that. I need Reece James taking risks at right back. So, and we've seen the quality, and again, done. Are you counting Reece James? Is Reece James now? Is Reece James real to you now? Because you were saying for a long time, Reece James isn't real to me. I need to see 10 games, 20 games. I get it's not been a long time, but he's been fit for a little while. Yes. I think Tuchel said 8 weeks he's been fully fit, and there's been no issues. He even admitted that actually when Reece James wasn't available for a game because of illness they put out, Tuchel actually admitted that basically that was a lie and that he was actually fit, but they just decided to rest him. So Reece James has been fit for a minute and he's been looking good. And that again, bro, he's maybe taken like 4 free kicks since he's been back, and 2 of them are gone in the corner, and they were clutch goals as well. So listen, this guy is one of the best fullbacks in world football, like no doubt about it.
He's the best right
And
back
when
in the
he's
world,
fit and playing. And this is why this is for both of you guys, because even Jem, you brought like for a while that maybe we have to look past Reece James and stuff like this. And this is why I say, as much as it's frustrating having somebody of this caliber not fit, you have to be patient with somebody like this because they don't come around that often. Somebody this good, especially from your academy, like they don't come around too often, man. So again, touch wood, this guy stays fit. But if he stays anywhere near fit, he's got to be a big part of this team because he's that good.
Bro, that's the thing. We have to isolate the two because we all know that Reece is world class, bro. Like he's one of our only players that's world class, right? I can comfortably say that, and you can't debate that, bro. All you can really say is his fitness. Yeah, for me, I know how good he is, but it's frustrating as a Chelsea fan because I'm like, the bigger picture here is we don't see him. He never plays. So what's the point of constantly waiting if we're never going to see the guy? Like the idea of Reece is great, and when he's here, it's amazing. But if he's not here, bro, he's not helping the club. And as much as I love him, he's not as big as the club. But I'm happy right now that he's maintaining fitness. Touch wood, bro, because this club is cursed. That's why I haven't even said anything yet to you, man, about Reece. I can imagine this guy being in the team now, right? I'm getting used to Reece being here now, but I'm still skeptical. I'm very careful. When I see Reece fall on the floor and that, I'm like, yo. You know what I'm saying? When I saw him going for a header the other day, even Tuchel got scared himself, blood. I don't know if you lot have seen the videos, right? Where he went up for a header and he clattered my man, bro. Tuchel got scared.
He was scared for the other guy because Reece poleaxed that guy, bro. Like, you know what? That was almost like when he poleaxed Dan Burn back in the day. A lot of man remember that, but he literally killed Dan Burn back in the day, like a few years ago, bro. It was crazy. So Reece is a madman, bro. He's a madman.
Of course, bro. But listen, let's go into the into the rankings now, people. Because it's going to be quite interesting. We're not going to try and spend too much time on people. Some of these here, obviously, we're going to take a little bit longer. But some of these guys, bro, we've barely even fucking seen them. You know what I'm trying to say?
Zoom in, Dom.
Say that again, bro.
Try and zoom in if you can a little bit. So people can see. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me zoom in, bro, so you man can see this. Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's calm. We can work with that.
Yeah, I don't know why there's an advert here at the bottom. Let me even close that as well.
It will come up across the
But listen, the first person on that list, Bettinelli. Listen, Bettinelli, bro. This guy's just there. He's in charge of the group chats and that. He's the guy that goes to the managers and speaks to them on behalf of the squad and that. There's no point ranking this guy, bro. You know what I'm trying to say. But let's move on to the next guy. So Badia Show. What we're saying about Badia Show, people. I'll put him in the middle to start off with like this, and then obviously we'll move him around just so people can see who's on stage. Just so people can see who's on stage.
You know I don't like our defenders, so this is going to be interesting.
I'm saying poor, man. I'm saying poor. Obviously, there's been injuries and that. A couple good games here and there, but for me, he's had some poor games. Not been great at times. Obviously, most of the defense has not been good, but in the games that he's played, for the most part, I've not really been impressed. Is it a sell ASAP thing? Is it a sell ASAP? I mean,
you lot have sold your stocks.
Yeah,
so we've sold the Sassy already. Should we sell Betty? I hear it. I do hear it. I do kind of hear it. Tottenham's gonna stay for me. Yeah, you know what? Batty and so. I think so. I can't lie. I think so. Yeah.
You guys are happy to get rid of him. How about you, Jim? How you feeling about him?
So I was thinking about it again, and then I thought about all their moments, and it just made. I nearly had a car crash in my head. So, listen, it's a hard one because he first came in, he looked very good. Again, obviously next to Thiago Silva had a good period, whatever, got injured, and then really struggled since that. And I just get them horror, him and Disassi against Arsenal. I just can't them moments just tell me that you ain't good enough for Chelsea Football Club. So
he's not the same since the injury. Like his mobility's gotten way worse since the injury.
Yeah.
And I hear you lot, man. It's a shame because I really liked this guy when he first came. You know what I mean? Like he was defending, bro, one-on-one defensively. He was good, so nonchalant the way he was playing, bro, on the ball, the way he punches it into the midfield. Like, even before he got injured, there was a few games where he actually did all right. You know what I mean? Obviously again, it was shocking, but I'm putting that more to Maresca, bro, because his play, man, in the fucking on the right hand side. You know what I mean? And he doesn't work there. He prefers to be on the left. But there's so many bozo moments from this guy. Like I can even remember last season, I was at the bridge, bro, behind the goal. I'm seeing my man just give the ball to Callum Wilson under like minimal pressure in a cup game. You know what I mean?
I remember that. Yeah.
Under minimal pressure, bro. So I don't know. I feel like the pressure's got to this guy. Again, I honestly don't think he's a bad player, but maybe he just catfished us. You know, maybe he just hasn't got the minerals. You know, he looked AJ's right. He looked very good next to Thiago Silva. But yeah, Badia Shil, what it is about him, when he's good, he's very, very good. But when he's poor, he's shocking. Like there's no in between. Yeah.
Nah.
Even when we played Arsenal the other day, bro, man just kept giving the ball away. Like second half he was better, but in the first half he just kept giving the ball away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm with Tower on this one, bro. I'll give him one more season. I'll be real. I'll give him one more season. If we get a good offer, I'll move him on. If we can get someone better than him, but I don't know what's happened to this guy, bro. Because when he first came, he was good. You might know how much I liked him. You know, Couch was always onto him, but the bozo moments, I can't even excuse them. So where we keeping him? Sell ASAP, yeah.
I'm saying sell.
I think you're outvoted. They're done. I think it's 2 sells. So yeah, sell.
No, I hear it. This one I wish I had someone else here, bro. If it was up to me, I'll say poor, awful season. But cool. If we're gonna do that, we'll do that then, innit? Let's talk about Moises. Yeah, Moises Caicedo. Yeah.
Sell.
For me, I'm putting him right here, blood. Yeah, overperforming, amazing season. For me, I'll probably say he's been our best player, bro. You know what I'm saying? He started off a little bit sluggish, like against Wolves that game. Remember the first half, bro? This guy was playing like he was drunk. But since that first half of Wolves, bro, this guy has been fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? He had a little period where he dropped off a bit over Christmas, where man just kept getting played and that. But he's been back onto it in recent weeks. I can't lie, bro. You know what I mean? I think he's been very good off the ball. I think on the ball, he's been quite good in terms of the progressive passes. I'm seeing a lot of people, you know, they've got this narrative about what Maresca said about playing the ball backwards and that. Bro, if you read between the lines, you know that Maresca means in situations where we shouldn't be really losing the ball, go backwards, retain the ball. But most of the time, you see Caicedo clipping it into the final third, bro, right? You see Enzo Fernandez as well, creating a lot of chances for us, right? This guy's passing range for me is unbelievable. I wish Kante had his passing range because he would even be better if he had his passing range, you know? Yeah. And I honestly can't wait for Lavia, Asugo, Santos to be playing behind him so we can actually see Caicedo box to box. Because when he's box to box, bro, you're going to see more GA from this guy. What about you, Jem? What have you thought about him so far, man?
I'll keep it short and sweet. I just think he's been very consistent. When we've been very good and the team's been functioning and everyone's been available, he's been very good. When the team's been very bad and we're not functioning in the attack and the defense is not that great, guess who's still playing very well? Moises Caicedo. So at the end of the day, he's a very consistent individual. And for me, yeah, you can put him there. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying that he's had an amazing season. I think he has. And the money doesn't get spoken about anymore, which is just no shock really, because he's better than Declan's Couscous by a mile away. So there we go.
Oh yeah, bro. For me, that's not even a debate, bro. He's better than it. How about you, Ads?
Yeah, I don't think really much needs to be said. I would just say that there should be a tier just for Caicedo when it comes to this season. I think he's been head and shoulders above the rest. He's been so cold, bro, so cold. And for me, he's been top 3 midfielders in Europe this season. With Pedri and Vitinha, I'd say. I think he's been up there with those guys. So I've been so impressed, and I just want to keep seeing this from him. And I feel like he will continue to do this and more the better the team gets. So yeah, he's been top.
Facts, bro. 100%. I agree, bro. So yeah, we'll keep him in there. We'll go Casemiro.
A man in chat said he's better than Declan Rice. How? What are you on about, fam? Sorry, my bad. But like, what does man mean about how? What?
You know, just use your eyes. Open these, you'll see.
Yeah, open your eyes, bro. Bro, he's got more to his game. He's got more to his game, bro. You know, he can defend.
Why and then how?
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's not even a bro. Try put Declan Rice in De Zerbi's system, and you see how they build from the back. You know, Declan Rice, he'll be getting subbed every game. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's move on to the next one. So you got Cassidy. Obviously, we sold this guy. Should we do Cassidy, bro? He's gone now.
No.
Yeah, leave him.
He's gone. All right, cool. Carney, we didn't really see him. Is it even worth talking about him?
No.
Hope he gets fit again soon, man. That's really it.
Right. Oh, listen, Cole was another one, bro. That splits the fan base. I can't lie, bro. Let me start off, I'll put him in the middle. I'll put him in the middle like this, right? Let me start off with you, Jem. Man. What have you?
I want to hear what Jem says on that about this.
You know, I don't like these defenders. If I'm being a troll, I would say sell. But if I'm being honest, I would probably say poor, awful season, because the best we saw of Colwell was when he had Fofana next to him. But Fofana and Colwell for me didn't start well. We were just outscoring teams. We were still conceding goals. We still had bozo moments within that. They got better over time, but guess what? Wesley Fofana got injured. Yeah. After Wesley Fofana got injured, it was down to Colwell to show that he's the man to step up and take some leadership and guide this defense. I'm not going to lie, I've not seen that for him. He's weak in the air. I see this man get bodied by Jared Bowen. The guy's about 3 foot. How are you losing aerial duels against Bowen up front against you? Like, come on. Like, he's just got so many defensive deficiencies to his game that I'm seeing. I just don't like it, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like some of the things I'm seeing from him. He's got a shit attitude sometimes. He gets booked for stupid things as well. He has this moment in his head where when we get a free kick, he'll just poof the ball without even thinking, and we'll just give the ball away. And so many times this season where he's like, yeah, I'll take the quick kick, and then he fucking just gives it back to someone. Yeah, the horrendous bozo moments of giving goals away from trying to pass back to our goalkeepers and passing them short and then going on and scoring. He's not been that good, mate. He's just not been that good. So for me, Pat, he should be on the poor, awful season for me personally. I expect more because these Chelsea fans, these Cobham's finest, were bigging him up to be the man that was going to come up and step up. That's all I'm saying.
How about you, Ads? I think that's a little bit harsh to put him in the poor, awful season, to be fair, Jem, because like, bro, I can't lie, bro. Before the game at Anfield, this guy was fucking class, bro. He was good defensively. If you remember some of the blocks that he was getting in the box for us, bro, they were like goals on the other end of the pitch. You know what I mean? Yeah, and you can't do that, bro, because even against Wolves, that guy put in a serious.
Are we here? Or are we here?
That's what I'm getting into it. For you to say poor, awful season for me is a bit harsh because, like I said, up until I'll probably say October, November, before that Liverpool game, he was, for me, probably our best player, right?
Yeah, but I said that when him and Fofana built chemistry. When they built chemistry.
Yeah. So I thought he was good. He started to fall off. And again, that's not all on him because, bro, you already know with centre backs, right? You need to have the same partner more often than not. Right, I'm not excusing him for the silly shit that he does, like against West Ham, bro. You're calling for a foul, that's not a foul. Even against Brighton, if you remember the third goal we conceded, my man just got flung to the floor. He's complaining like a fool, you know. And that's where I'm looking at it, and I'm like, bro, now you're showing me your age. But I understand that he's a 21-year-old centre back, bro. Right, that's played in the Prem in the second year now in the Prem. You're not gonna get Salibas all the time. Yeah, you're not gonna get Salibas all the time. Colwell ideally should be a guy that we use as a squad player again, but he's another one that we're having to depend on because we haven't got, Badi Shield hasn't been fit. Vega, for me, I would have played him ahead of Colwell and Colwell started to fall off. I think Vega would have done better than this guy. I think Vega.
I agree with that.
Defensively as well. Yeah, I would have done that. But overall, I think he's had some poor games. I think he's had some good games.
Poor. He's been poor. It's been poor.
How about you, Ads? I think he's had a decent season, bro. How about you, Ads?
No.
Yeah, for me, listen. For me, he's had a lot of games where he's had, poor games. He's also had some like sellable games in terms of like just form wise, right? Like if we were to look at some of his games, if we were to categorize them like we have on this list here, there's been sellable games, there's been poor games, some average. For me, there's been some really good and great games. I just think for me, earlier in the season when he was performing really well, people were almost doing a bit too much of the praise because maybe on the metrics it was doing really good, and obviously there were some good games in there. But for me, I was like, okay, let's wait for the bigger games. Let's see how he does in those ones. And obviously, he come on stock in quite a few of them. And of course, right now, if we're talking about form-wise, of course, his form is at its probably lowest it's been all season. So of course, we're going to be judging it maybe more harshly than we would have at any point previously. So for me, honestly, I was going into this thinking that I'll probably give him maybe like decent. And by decent, I mean like he's barely getting into the decent category just because over the whole season, the word points for me, he was very good. And that's partly because obviously he was alongside Fofana. And I think the key point, if you were to look at all of our centre-backs, most of them always look good when they're alongside somebody. Because with Colwell, when he was at Brighton, when he had Dunk alongside him, he was the experienced guy. He was obviously very good. Then when he came to Chelsea, when he was alongside Thiago Silva, his best form came. Then alongside Fofana, his best form came.
Just on that as well, just on that, bro. That year that Arsenal lost to Brighton, was it 3-0 at the Emirates, right? My boy is a season ticket holder at the Emirates. And he literally messaged me after. He's like, yo, that Colwell guy is sick, yeah? I was like, oh, yeah, he plays for Chelsea. He's like, what? He plays for Chelsea, bro? I said, yeah. He's like, bro, this guy's a baller. Like, before like, you know, obviously when Tuchel wanted to get rid of him, so many Chelsea fans, bro, were begging, yo, please don't sell this guy. Someone even saying, don't buy Guardiola, we've got Colwell, which is a bit of
I was one of them still. I was one of them. I can't lie.
Cobham's finest, yeah? Cobham's finest coming out.
For me, I just kind of look at it and I think, bro, this guy's 21. This is not the final product. This is not the final product. For me, I don't think he'll ever be an aggressive centre-back like a Fofana because he's not that in it. I don't think he ever will be that. But I think he can improve defensively for sure, bro. You know, he'll never be great in the wide areas.
So many defensive deficiencies. It's mad.
For me, Jem, like I said, I'm not fussed if we drop him and we buy someone else better and he's still in the squad. I don't mind him as a squad player. But starting week in, week out, you know, I understand why people have run out of patience because, you know,
Can I just say though, there's very few wonder kid centre backs. Most of these centre backs that are the top guys right now, they weren't popping at a young age. Like go and look where Van Dijk was at 21. He wasn't that guy at 21. Most of these guys aren't that guy at 21. So I feel like, yes, Levi, he's made a lot of mistakes this season, and I still will want and expect more. And if we're gonna put him in poor, then fair enough. I think he'd be higher on the poor list compared to other people that we're gonna get to. But for me, I feel like people are a bit too harsh, given his age, given his form when he's alongside competent centre backs. When he's alongside Tossins, and again, not to discredit Tossin and Badiashile and Disasi too much, but we know they're not proper Chelsea level. A fit Fofana is a fit Thiago Silva was, even though he was old, but we saw that Cole was a lot more competent alongside these guys. So for me, I feel like we need to see more of that. But again, based on his list, I would have him low decent, to be honest.
Yeah, same for me. I'm not having him like nearly on very good. I'm putting him decent. He's just about got there. Just about got there, Jem. Because I can't lie, bro. He hasn't been poor in every game. He's actually had some good games, bro.
Decent, you're just poor. I don't get it. There's no just about.
I don't think he's been poor all season, though. I think he's decent for. Okay, what's your definition of decent? Maybe then you understand why I'm saying decent.
Just someone that's just been average most of the season, but hasn't done much wrong, hasn't done much great. But he's done a lot wrong for me.
But he's also done a lot good though. That's what keeps him up. Like you get points for being actually really good, and he's had a lot of good games. And even on the ball, the times we're on the ball, he's given us a lot, bro, a lot.
Yes,
and
I get defensively yourself. Even through that period where him and Fofana had good chemistry, people were overblowing his performances. I didn't say he was playing bad. I was actually quite impressed with how he was doing in moments. But listen, you can't forget some of the errors that we've seen with this guy this season. It's been like leadership qualities, the passing from the back, even in some games he was just passing to players and giving goals away. Like in the box, he's getting bodied, like comfortably bodied for goals and stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, you know, he's got too many defensive deficiencies for me. He needs to work on his all-round defensive game if he's going to be that defender for me, because there's too many little things for me that I don't like in his game. I'll be honest with you.
Listen, I hear it, but it sounds like, it doesn't sound like you are outvoted on the panel. I mean, most of the comments agree with you. They're all on to Levi, but me and Don are saying decent, just about. So you got to go with that.
I don't like our defense, so bear that in mind, guys. I'm not a big fan of our defenders. You know
what? You know how I group it. Yeah, I'm saying decent because I've seen poor games and I've seen some very good games. So for me, when you mix them together, that's a decent season, bro. Right? I don't think it's been poor. Like, I don't think it's been poor all season. I think it's been poor in parts. I think he's had a drop off in form. But I can't ignore what I was seeing man doing start of the season, bro. This guy was comfortably our best player start of the season, bro. Comfortably. And the metrics back up what I was watching. You know what I mean? So for me, I think he's had a decent season. But
average. Decent's also like average as well, by the way. Decent, average, okay, meaty-ish. That's all what decent comes under.
Okay. Let me just put that here as well. That decent and average, bro. There we go, like this, so people can see it. Yeah?
I agree there. If you're going to cook Badiashile for giving the ball away, then we're at the same.
I don't like how it's all laid out, bro. Let me try to fix this.
Again, for me, Baddy's season's been more poor, but it's just I would actually sell him. That's where it's kind of like different. He's not been that much worse than Colwell, but it's like we should sell him, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's go to the next person then. So, hey, Cucurella. He is Paella. You know what I'm saying? His hair's fucking massive. Yeah,
Best
my
left back.
fucking boy. My fucking boy. Let me get straight into this, bro. Yeah. Overperforming, amazing season. Yeah. When you talk about Chelsea, the best players this season for me, he's in there, bro. Top 3. Caicedo, Cucurella, and Enzo Fernandez have been my top 3, bro. Right? This guy is showing experience. This guy is now adding goals to his game. This guy is overlapping. People were telling me he can't overlap. I was telling them, bro, this guy was doing that at Brighton. It was the instruction from Poch. Poch used to have our team lopsided. When Cuckoo was staying back, you had the other right back going up, right? He never really got any opportunities to overlap. Before he joined Chelsea, bro, he created more chances than fucking Chilwell and Reece, yeah? Player of the season at Brighton, bro. I never sold my stocks in this guy because I know what I was watching at Brighton and I know exactly why Pep wanted this guy, right? He goes into midfield, he inverts, he's comfortable. He helps us defensively. He goes into the little pockets. Man does better than Gusto there, right? He goes left back, bro. He's getting in the box. He's crashing into the box. Man's scoring headers, yeah? Man's having some composed finishes in the box. You know what I mean? Everything about him right now, bro, it's good to see because I remember when he was being booed off the pitch and I felt so bad for this guy because I'm like, yo, this guy's house has been burgled. This guy's had tonsillitis. This guy's playing with bare man that don't want to be at Chelsea anymore. He's even playing with a manager that knows him, but he's still not playing well. That says a lot about what was going on at that time, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. But for me, I think he's been very, very good, bro. I think he's having an amazing season. I think he's been the best left back in the league for me. I really like Kirkes. You might know how much I like Kirkes. And it's annoying that he's going to go elsewhere, right? But when I deep him, like, bro, we've got Cucurella. Kirkes ain't going to leave Bournemouth to come in and be second choice. Because I'm not dropping him for anyone. I'll be so real, right?
Yeah.
Go on, Jem. What have you thought about him?
I think when you compare the Poch season to this season, it's just chalk and cheese. I think he's another one that's shown a real good consistency throughout the season, even when we haven't been performing, and he's stepped up and really shown some minor leadership qualities as well. You know, one thing you didn't mention, Don, is the goals, man. The guy's putting goals on the table. You know what I mean? Like,
talk about them, bro.
You know, man's banging in goals for us in important games when we're struggling to break teams down. He's coming into the box and scoring headers. You know, he's like, what is he, 4 foot Saint, 5 foot Saint? You know what I mean? Like, he's been. You know what I like about Cucurella? He's just very aggressive, and I think him and Fofana. Obviously, we'll get to Fofana, but I think the reason them two have benefited the most is the manager because it's very all about how their game is, which is aggressiveness. It's all about explosiveness, aggressiveness, winning the ball quickly, playing the ball quickly, making the right decisions. But also defensively, he's been very sound. And in the past, I've seen Cucurella get cooked too easily, man, and we've called him out so many times in the past where it's like Cucurella should be doing better. But this season, man, he's doing very, very well, and long may it continue because at this moment in time, we do have the best left back in the league for sure.
100, bro. How about you, Adman? Because you're someone that was very harsh on this guy, and I used to defend him all the time because I remember me and you used to have conversations about him. You know, what have you thought about Cuckoo this season, bro?
No, you guys have said it all. He's been very good, very, very good. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely put him in amazing too. I think he's been up there with our best performance this season. And again, I was harsh on him because when we signed him, I was excited. Because at the time when we signed him, Sterling, Aubameyang, I was like, oh, these other signings are mid. But this guy, no, I'm happy that we took him off of City. And then he ended up being kind of awful for a bit. And we're looking at maybe we should sell him. So that's why I was mad at the time. But then he's come back, he's done his thing. And there isn't really much more to say because you guys have said it all. So yeah, man, I'm happy with him being there. And also big up Carlos in the chat. He's enjoying the discussion. I am too. But yeah, let's get to the next player, man. Because with Cuckoo, it's clear.
Big up, man. Big up that comment as well. Big yourself up, bro, man. But yeah, for me, I'm looking at this guy. He could be an Aspie sort of player for Chelsea, bro. You know them guys that get so many appearances, very durable. You know, touch wood. He stays fit a lot of the time. He's Spanish as well, bruv. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, long may it continue, man. He's been fantastic. Dewsbury Hall. Again, I'll put him in the middle here, right? To start off with. Let me come to you, Jem, first of all, bro. Let me come to you first.
You know when I don't like a player? Listen, I don't want to be too harsh to him because I don't think he's played enough. And I think when we have seen him, he's been played out of position. I remember the guy being played on the left wing, and I'm like, why am I playing Dewsbury Hall on the left wing to be a winger? Like, this is not his game. However, there has been some games where he's just been very disappointing. I remember man just not. I don't know what game it was. It was at home. It was recently as well in a conference where he just didn't get involved one bit. My man wasn't getting the ball. He was just running away from the ball. He was like he was scared to receive it. He just wasn't there. But then obviously the most recent game away, where at home where he scored that goal that obviously got us to win. Like, that showed me a bit of quality, and I thought, you know what, there's a little bit of quality there. I can see it. However, do I think he's Chelsea level? Do I think, looking at what we've got coming in, moving forward, and where we're going, my honest opinion is that I think he's hard to rate, because I want to say poor, because he has been poor, but at the same time I feel like he's been misused by Maresca, but just because we haven't been able to utilize him. But at the same time, I do think we're going to sell him as well. So it's one of them. So it's I would say, based on, do I think he's going to get sold? Yeah, I think it will be a sale. But in terms of his overall performance, it's probably going to be average, but maybe like more to the lower end, if that makes sense. Just like scraping it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean,
how about you, Adnan? Where would you put him?
I mean, I agree with Jem's assessment. I would probably put him in poor. He could be sold, but I feel like I would put him in poor. But again, yeah, it's based on what we've seen, and I get it. It's a lot of it is down to the manager and how he's not utilized him. And then when we played him, there's times like even in the cup game against Newcastle, we went out. He started right wing with Dasaki behind him. Like that was just a rank flag from hell, bro. Like there was nothing he could even really do. So again, things like that is just like. It's not like this is some NEL player that has just been flogged onto you. This is a player that you literally managed the season before and had one of the best seasons we've seen from an attacking midfielder in the Championship. He put up big numbers. This was somebody also who was pretty decent in the Prem. Yeah, he was even decent when they got relegated from the Premiers also. Like, this is a pretty decent player. I think he is a decent player, but he just looked pretty poor when he's played for us. So I can't really put him any higher than poor. And obviously he could be sold, but yeah, for me, I just leave him in poor.
Yeah. For me, I still rate him. I still rate Dewsbury. I know what I was watching from this guy at Leicester, man. And for me, the major difference that I've seen with this guy, this is a guy that didn't want to take any risk at the club. You know, he definitely sees what goes on social media. I spoke to a Leicester fan before we played them, and he said, bro, this guy's a big advocate for like things that go on social media and whatnot. He spoke about it during his time at Leicester. And you know, when I was seeing this guy at Leicester, bro, getting on the ball, more time he's turning on it, running through the midfield like what Carney tends to do, and he's trying to shoot or trying to create for people, and that's why he got a lot of GA. Whereas at Chelsea, he gets it, he just pops it off. You know what I mean? He gets it, he just pops it off. And I'm like, you're not showing people how good you are because you're not taking any risks. So all these lot are gonna do is look at you and say, yo, what does Dewsbury do on the pitch? Because you're not showing them anything, right? At least you know with Gallagher, this guy will try and show something on the ball, and they're like, oh, this guy's not better than Gallagher. But when you saw him actually trying to take risks against Copenhagen, bro, you saw exactly what he can do. Yeah,
I hear that.
So he scored that goal in the second half, Gem. He was quality, bro. Some of the passes I was seeing him making and that, I'm like, yo, this is what I was watching at Leicester. So people need to remember, confidence is a big thing in football, bro. Right? I don't know if much of you people have played football in the chat. When you're playing, bro, and you're not confident, I'm telling you, the ball you treat it like a hot potato. You don't want it. You don't want it anywhere near you. But when you get the ball and you're running past people and you feel confident, you're gonna take more risks. And that's been the biggest problem for me with Dewsbury. I think he hasn't been taking any risks. Maresca hasn't brought him on in games where he could have been used when Palmer's stinking out the place. Certain squads he hasn't even made. You know, I think we should sell this guy and let him go elsewhere, mid-table team, and cook over there, right? Because for his own good, leave, bro. You nearly went to Brighton. Chelsea are rubbing you out because you're a good player, but this environment is too toxic for him. I'll be so real. You know what I mean? I'll be very surprised if we keep him. So I'm gonna say poor season, but again, I still think he's a good player to be playing in it. I'll be honest with you, bro. Cool. Let's move on to Axel. You know what I mean? Axel.
Just sell.
Yeah, bro. You said it already, man. Axel.
There's nothing to say. He's just crap. We spent 70 million. You see the Chuckle brothers sitting next to each other there. We spent 70 million on these two Chuckle brothers. Yeah, from Monaco. Yeah, and who was it? Who was it that got these deals done? Who was the sporting director at the time that got this stuff done? Do you remember?
Win Stanley.
Was Win Stanley?
Was it Win Stanley?
It wasn't Bivell. Yeah, it was Win Stanley, bro.
Win Stanley who has the links to Monaco. Win Stanley.
Yeah, it's Win Stanley, bro. It's
Win Stanley. Yeah, well, then you go Bozo, innit, along with him. So
get his picture in Bozo as well, bro. That's what we need to do, bro.
Bozo, man. Let's just move.
But listen, hey, Fabrizio confirmed the other day that he's part of the squad, part of the team that are gonna get sold. Sorry, so he's gone. Jem, I'll come straight back to you, man. Yeah, boy.
Is that? Hey, bro. Bro, you don't watch football, bro. That's what I'm
João
going to say.
Felix. Whoa.
Is it João Felix?
Yes, bro.
Oh, well, what do you want me to say? I told you guys how long ago when we first signed him that this was going to happen, didn't I? And I'm not saying that I'm all happy because I'm right about it, because I'd rather him prove me wrong and be used and play really well and contribute to goals. But he just isn't that guy. Everyone has this image of João Felix, and João Felix is just not that guy anymore. It's been proven. He's gone to AC Milan, and they hate him over there. The people have come out and even said he's useless. We're not keeping him on any longer. He's going back. So for me, sell, he's going to be sold anyway. So you might as well put him in the sell bracket for me. I don't see João Felix in. But however, do I think he's given us good games when he has been involved earlier on? I think he did. And I'm talking about when the team was functioning again, when we needed to utilise our bench and he came in. He had some good moments. I'm not going to sit here and slag him off to the full ends, but he had some good moments. However, he should not be at this club. I stick by it. That's just me, He needs to go.
Do you feel like he's been given fair opportunity, bro? Because that's a major problem that I've got with him. I don't think he's been given many games. That's why he left the club in January, bro.
No, he wasn't really given enough opportunities. And again, there were times where we're like, okay, Palmer's had a decent start to a game. Maybe he's getting a bit tired. Let's bring on Felix. When Felix was actually doing quite well in the Conference League, like to build confidence, give him a chance in the Premier. We weren't really seeing enough of that. But again, there were times where he did get chances in the Prem, and I wasn't really happy. And this is coming from somebody who wasn't super against the signing until the window closed, and I realized that signing him meant we got no striker. Then I was vexed, right? But for me, with him, I was like, okay, there's something in the player. But again, I'll be real. The receipts are there in the chat. I'll even clip it and show it to you, man, afterwards in the chat. I think he started against Leicester, and people were raving about the performance. And I said, you know what, guys? You know what? I'm selling all my Felix stocks now. He's not it. I said it at the time when I stuck by it, because for me, as much as there's ability and there's, aesthetics, there's not enough output. He doesn't give you the output. And I was like, I'm pretty sure even when he has this run of games, he's not going to give us enough. And he didn't end up giving us enough through that run of form. And yes, I still stand by the fact that he should have been given more opportunity. But for a player that he's supposed to be, he didn't show enough of that at all. So for me, his season would probably be meaty to poor, but obviously we're going to sell him.
Tahan, that's a joke comment. I got to say that.
Where we put it in? Poor, awful season or sell ASAP? I think Jem wants to sell.
Just sell.
I think Jem wants to sell. How about you, Ads? What are you putting him?
I mean, we're gonna sell, but I'm gonna put him in poor just based like how his season was for us. I'm gonna say it was more like high poor. So he's above KDH for sure. But man. So I'll put him to for me, like the left is like higher on the tier, right? So I would put him to the left of KDH. But still not. It's not great.
Yeah, for me, bro. Listen, we all know innit? We all know that this guy hasn't got the output, but there's just so many games, bro. Even against Bournemouth, man came on and got us the free kick where Reece ended up scoring for us, and we would have lost that game if it wasn't for that bit of dynamism on the pitch. I thought he actually played well against Leicester, Ads, because I was even at that game, and people kept saying, Felix don't work well off the ball. I saw man running from one side to the other side, bro, trying to win the ball back. The game I think you're thinking about is Southampton when he started that game.
No. Honestly, bro, I'll send it to you. Like he was relatively good against Leicester, and he worked great off the ball. That was like, you know what? He can play off the left and he can give us the hard work that Sancho was doing off the ball, right? But for me, it's just like the output. Every time we got to the final third and like give me like the right decision, give me the right execution on a shot from the edge of the box. It just constantly wasn't there. And I just felt like, you know what? It's gonna be a familiar tell where it looks good, but then there's no end product. And that's how his season was for us in the league. In the Conference League, okay, it was slightly different, but against good opposition. And I was literally seeing it be actualized in Milan, where it's a slightly easier league, still a decent league. It's a good level, higher than the Conference League. Show me something. And at Milan, he's dying, bro. So this is João Felix. This is him.
I hear it.
Told you guys.
We've got 84 people in the house. We've got about 47 likes. Make sure that you lot keep smashing up the likes and subscribing to the channel. Just a quick one, man. I want everyone to go and like and follow this page. They're called Motherland Official. They sent me some stuff yesterday, so big up the guy that owns it. So they sell like some hats here. So you've got like this Motherland hat over here. You've got the hat that I've got on as well, people. They even sent me some sweets as well, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah,
they look clean still. The hats look clean still.
I'm telling you, these hats are nice, bro. They look like this. Nice. You know what I mean? They look like the squared, bro. So nice. I'll put their website in the description, people. So make sure you check them out. The hats ain't too expensive as well, but they look proper, man. And they left me a nice little card as well, people. So if you look here, their packaging is proper as well, bro. You know what I mean? So yeah, check them out, man. Because yeah, I like this. I like this. You don't know I love my caps. You know what I mean? So big him up for that one, man. Big him up for that one. All right, cool. So we'll put Felix in the poor awful season. All right, Fofana, Wesley Fofana, bro. Let me start with you, Ad, man. What have you thought about his season?
I mean, again, I have a feeling of disappointment that he's not fit to play more games. So that's the main feeling. But in terms of what he showed when he was here, it was very good form. At times, it was amazing stuff that we saw. So I'm very happy with what he's shown when he was fit. Because last season, it wasn't great at times. Remember some of the Madrid games that he played? Maybe that was even the season before with Potter, where it just was not good. But no, this season I would say very good. So I would put him in very good. Because when he was playing, we were doing well. We were, arguably in a title race, people were saying. So it's hard to put him any lower than that. And obviously, we've seen the fall off since. But I just need to see this guy get fit and at least end the season, playing. Because if not, then again, we're going to be in a situation where it's like, cool, you've shown us a bit, but can we really depend on you? Can we trust on you? Given that we spent the best part of 80 million on this guy, So yeah, man, it's frustrating. But again, in terms of what he showed on the pitch, mostly it was very good.
Yeah, I think for me at the beginning, I could see him being quite hesitant, like on the ball. Obviously, bro, you've just come back from a big injury. You're gonna need to get ready, get used to your body again. You need to get over that mental obstacle of coming back from a big injury, bro. If you guys saw what do you call it, Van Dijk, when he first came back, right? This guy was not that confident, bro. You could see because he hurt, bro. He had an ACL at the time, I believe, innit? And he wasn't really looking that confident on the ball. But later on, I started to see Fofana doing what we know Fofana to do, like driving on the ball. I remember against West Ham, he started at right back. He was doing that. Against Arsenal, for me, was his best performance before he got injured. You can see why he got injured, bro. Man was just running all over the place. Against Leicester, when he came back, he played very well as well. But yeah, I think he's been very good whilst he's been there.
Just to that point as well, I actually remember having a conversation early in the season with Couch. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to really expect much from Fofana till like December, January time. Because again, when you're coming back from a long injury, you're not match sharp. It's hard to get into the groove of things. But he got into it quite quickly. So again, you have to give him the credit for that because he got injured before December. So all the good form we're talking about was prior to that time that I said it was going to be, we should then actually have expectation about him. So big up to him for what he showed. It's just, again, please come back soon because clearly we need it.
100%. How about you, Jem?
I'll just be quick. I don't really get excited with players like Fofana and Lavia and James at the moment. And that's just down to their availability. True. I think they're very good when they're at their fit. I actually thought he had a bit of a shaky start when we first started the season.
He did.
I didn't think him and Cole started off very well, but again, we all sat here and said, listen, let them build the chemistry. That's that, and I agree. We needed some sort of chemistry, but once he started finding his form, he was aggressive, and like I said, I think he just suits the Maresca system. The way that he likes to play is aggressive. Carrying the ball, playing the ball quickly, winning the ball quickly, and out of all the defenders, he's definitely the best out of an average bunch. Quite easily.
I hear it, bro. I hear it, man. But I'm gonna stick with you, Jem. Anyway, you know what I mean. Enzo time. You know what I'm saying? Go through, my brother. Go through.
I mean, listen, we've still got a fair way to go with the end of the season. We've got the Club World Cup coming up as well. There's a lot of football still to be played. Lots of things can change. But at this moment in time, Enzo Fernandez is easily top 3, in my opinion, in terms of performance this season. I think he stepped up massively and shut down the haters from last season who were basically saying sell him and that he doesn't suit the league and he's not good enough and this, that and the other. I know what I saw at Benfica. I knew what we will get. I keep saying that this player that we have has an individual style that not many players in the world of football have, and that's having the eye to be able to create in different varieties. And he's been showing that. The guy's been doing 5+5+5 created chances, in recent games as well, without the striking force that we need. And I always say when Enzo Fernandez, he's on 14 GA at the moment, which, by the way, is pretty impressive. It's better than McAllister this season for Liverpool, who's on
14 GA.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you look at where he is at the moment with a dysfunctional team that we've had over this past X amount of games, and imagine if we actually had someone that could actually put away the chances that this man creates. And it's not just from lobbing balls over the top or playing forwards as much as he does, but it's also from corners as well. This guy's corners are spot on, man. A lot of the times he's hitting the middle. So we should
be appreciated at the beginning. When he started taking him out first, they were shit. They improved.
Yeah.
When he started to put that fucking that thing around his hand, bro, that's when they started to improve, bro.
We should be appreciating players like Enzo Fernandez in our team. And like I keep saying, listen, very good this season. They've been very, very good this season, and long may it continue, because a good Enzo Fernandez is a good thing for Chelsea, because he is one of our creators, main important creators in the team, and he would have had 20 GA, by the way, by now. Easily over 20 GA. People don't realize it. He would have. We had a proper striker up front.
100%, bro. 100%, bro. He's one of the most. He's one of the most creative midfielders in the league. How about you, Ads, man? What have you thought about Enzo?
Listen, from even last season, people know, well, from his first season, people know that I've held Enzo in a high regard, and I've compared him to Pogba, and I don't joke about Pogba. I think Pogba's top in terms of what his ability and what he showed, even in the Prem, where people can say he was underwhelming. But again, Pogba, the ability is unmatched by most players. And I was comparing Enzo to him, not because his bag is as deep, but again, he's got similar attributes. And again, he entered into a team that is quite dysfunctional. And we didn't obviously see the best of Enzo at a time when Enzo was performing, which he was under Potter. Last season, there was a dip, there was injuries. Then there was the summer where, there was the bus incident, which obviously added way more pressure onto this guy's shoulders. And I'll be real, he started the season quite poorly. I remember defensively, there were times where like this guy was just way off of it, making mistakes, getting bypassed too easy. Even till now, he is still the most dribble pass player in the league. But he has improved defensively, I will say. He has improved off the ball for sure, winning the ball back more as well in offensive areas too. And I think it does coincide with him teaming up with that one trainer. I guess it is Mudrik's trainer. I hope there isn't it is, but I just hope there's no line between obviously the drugs that were taken with Mudrik and him. But again, if it is just strictly fitness training and all that, then credit to the coach and credit to him, because we've seen a drastic improvement. I remember even the Tottenham game where him and Sancho were 10 out of 10, right? But there was one moment where I saw this guy make an overlapping run where he ran so fast and so far around. I'm like, wait, when did you get this engine back? Because I was seeing this engine for Benfica and I was seeing it for Argentina, but I hadn't seen it for us in ages at all, pretty much. So to see him have those legs back is great, because we need that. He's added a few more goals to his game, which is good, because again, Don, how many times have we talked about how this guy was catfishing us with his shots? Every time man goes to international break, I'm seeing these comps of him shooting from 25 yards. I'm like, brother, don't be doing this, and you come back to Chelsea and doing up nonsense. But again, this season, his shooting's been a bit better. He's scoring some headers as well, which is great. Box crashing, which has been really good. And obviously, the creativity has been top. It's been back to what it was in the first season with us. And again, long may it continue. So as much as there was a slightly shaky start, and of course with Enzo, there's naturally going to be big expectations, I would still put him in the top tier. He's had an amazing season. I would have him probably above Cucurella. I would say right now at this point, he's of the people that we ranked, he's been our second best player.
Yeah, them three there.
Top three Chels.
Yeah, exactly. Those three there are three best players. Three best players, bro. So I honestly can't wait to see this guy with a proper striker, bro, because that's gonna.
They're the three best so far, innit? They're the three best so far that we've ranked.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And even Jem sent the video the other day in the group of Costa and Fabregas, right? When Fabregas played that ball to Costa, you see Costa finishes it, and then you've got Enzo playing it to Jackson against Man City. It's a completely different outcome. Man takes it around Edison and they want to use his left foot. You know what I mean? Stops. If Jackson scores that, everyone's talking about how good that ball was. And there's so many times Enzo will do that for players and they're letting him down. Even when we finished 12th, bro, right? This guy was creating for Sterling, for fucking Havertz. That team scored 38 goals in the season, right? And he was actually helping people to create. But we had some shit finishers. So I honestly can't wait for us to get a proper striker, because guys like Enzo are going to get even more GA. You know what I mean? Even more GA. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, listen, I agree. I agree with everything that you lot have said, man. But listen, I'll start off with Mark Gill. Yeah? Mark Gill. Yeah? For me, bro, listen, it's a bit of a sticky one way to put this guy, man, because if you talk about the Conference League, bro, this guy was playing very well in it. Yeah, if you talk about just Conference League, that's a very good season. He scored a hat-trick. He was a top goal scorer at that time as well. And then, like I said with Jackson, consistently missing chances. This is a player that I wanted to see get more minutes. I know a lot of people aren't going to be familiar with him, but I'm quite lucky because I had Y-Scout and I was watching a lot of his games back. And honestly, bro, I was telling all these men in the summer, out of Duran, out of Omarodian, out of Sesko, Gil was impressing me the most because he's the youngest one out of all of them. but I'm seeing him having more to his game, right? I'm seeing him up against men, and he's literally looking like a man himself, and he's just turned 18. I'm seeing this guy playing with Yamal, right? And he was towering over people, bro. You know what I mean? In the box, left foot, right foot, finishing chances. I'm like, these chances I'm seeing man scoring, the way Jackson misses them, this guy's going to score them with his eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? But what really frustrated me was the fact that Maresca did not want to give this guy any minutes. And that was really jarring me, bro, because it's like, you've kept this guy in the squad. You know, Jackson really hasn't got any competition like that. You're letting man just miss chances and you're not punishing him. At least give Gil a chance. You know, he showed what he could do against West Ham. And honestly, after that West Ham game, a lot of people are now saying, yo, start this guy, play this guy more. And then, surprise, surprise, we can't have nice things. He gets injured in that game. Now, I don't even know what's going on right now with his injury, bro. There's no mention of it, yeah? But the way this guy presses as well, it's better than Jackson's, bro. Yeah, the pressing off the ball from the front, right? He scored a goal, 2 goals in the Conference League just from pressing, bro. And I was showing you, man, the clips. Tell the chat, bro. I was showing you, man, the clips of this guy pressing it for Barcelona and scoring goals like that. He would have helped us have a different dynamic up there. He would have helped Neto. He would have helped Sancho if we played him more, you know? So I think this is going to be a player that's going to, you know, be a top player, depending on how many opportunities he gets playing first team football and whatnot. But for me, I would give him decent based off of how many times I've seen him in the Conference League when he's played well, bro. So I'd give him decent. I'll be real. I don't know what you think, Jem.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the limited amount of time we've seen him, what I think I like most about him, and we've not seen enough, is actually his box presence. I think he reads the game well when people will have the ball outside the box, and you know, when the ball comes in, he's always on the move. And I love a striker that's always on the move in the box. We have a lot, you know, we've always had a lot of, like even Jackson to a degree, a lot of static strikers that when they get in the box, they just wait for it to come to them and then they don't move. You know, if they would have just moved to the left a couple of yards, they would have scored a tap in. Like, he doesn't think like that. He thinks ahead of the game, and I like that in him. And you can see that already in how he plays. He does go a little bit missing sometimes, but that goes with the fact that he's inexperienced. He's still very young, and he's playing in the top league in the world. Like, I get that. I just want to see a bit more of him. I want to see him get a bit more time. You know, does he stay or do we sell him? I don't think we sell him. I think he probably does stay. Maybe as like a third striker if we get obviously one and Jackson and have him. Yeah, decent for me. I don't mind Mark Hugh, man. I don't mind him for what I've seen. Just want to see more. You know?
Like him. You call him Baby Costa, Baby Costa, bro. Honestly, bro, this guy should have been playing more. I don't give a shit about the age, bro. People love to tell me he's not ready, he's not that, and I'm like, bro, like, he's here. Fucking use him. We've got Jackson up top. It's not like we're playing fucking Osimhen up top and he's bagging all these goals, or Gokeres up top and I'm asking for Gil to play. We're playing Jackson, who's not even a striker. You know what I mean? Like, give him a chance. How about you guys?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what you guys have said. He's definitely got something about him, especially for at 18. You know, you don't really come out like Masia. And at the time, he was matching work in their academy football. Then he moved to the first team, and I think he scored in his debut, had a few really good games. So I was surprised they wanted to let him go for cheap. I mean, obviously, we know they're broke out there. But
they want to let him, offer them a new contract.
I didn't want him to go.
Bro,
yeah, they didn't want him to
go. They were pissed, bro. They were angry.
Yeah,
Angie. Angie's a Spanish Chelsea fan, right?
Yeah,
Chelsea
happy.
on Twitter right now, yeah. She's obviously a Barca fan as well. And she was angry, saying, yo, why is this guy even coming to Chelsea, bro? Like, he should stay here. Yeah, he was honestly going to be next up for these guys. But go on, carry on, bro.
No, I mean, to be fair, that makes sense because I do rate him, you know, especially for his age group. And he actually is bigger than I realized, actually. So, yeah, like, he's cool. I would say it's been a decent season, given what he's done in the Conference League. But again, we just not really seen much of him because the manager didn't want to trust him. Then the opportunity came with Jackson going down and the manager realizing Nkunku was a 9 doesn't work after half a season of doing it. And then he got injured. So I don't know when the kid's back. Hopefully it's sometime soon. But yeah, I would just put him in decent. So that's fair.
Yeah, no, I hear it, bro. All right, cool. So we'll keep him in decent. Let's go for Malo Gusto. Yeah, I'll stick with you, Ads. Go on, Ads. What have you thought about him?
So this season, if we're judging it purely on this, in fact, last season, if we were doing this exact tier list, he would have probably been in the top category for me. He was quality last season, overlapping Palmer at the time, especially earlier in the season. He was doing a great job. Okay, maybe I'm saying all this because I like Gusto, so I don't want to say something nice about him because if we're talking about this season, I have nothing nice to say about him. Honestly, if we're ranking it just on this season, ability-wise, what he's shown me, it's sellable. Like, it's sellable form that I've seen this season. He's sold in many aspects. Of course, would I sell him? No, I still rate the guy a lot, so I wouldn't sell him. But he's been atrocious. He's been below awful. He's been atrocious. Of all the people that we ranked so far, I would have him bottom of awful. So, like, I've been not impressed at all, and it's disappointing because some of it is on the manager in terms of, you know, overdoing the overlap, the inverted thing. So that hasn't helped him for sure. But at the same time, bro, where's your professional pride? At times, I'm just seeing him be so easy to beat defensively, make him stupid passes, not giving us the same impetus going forward, which is on him. That's on him. Like, at the same time, like, yeah, the manager, you can say these things with implementation and whatnot, but nobody has a remote controlling this guy on the pitch. He's got to do the actions, and most of the actions he's been poor. So
yeah,
again, based on how we're doing this system, I guess it's got to be awful. But honestly, for me, given where we rank this guy, where we rate this guy generally, it's been atrocious, bro. Atrocious.
No, I agree. I'll just quickly add to it. I do think part of it is mismanaged to a degree, but at the same time, when you're finding him in the 10 role, picking balls up, turning and trying to be that creator and play balls in behind, you're not going to get that. But then when he's not doing that and he's in his defensive position, he's just been beaten too easy too many times. I'm seeing my man get one of the things that he done very well under the Poch season was you just couldn't get around him. He was quick enough. He was good enough to recover and win the balls pretty quickly. This season, he's like, even when he has been playing off the right and we've asked him to go a bit forward from there, he's just been very just like underwhelming with his pass accuracy more than anything. He's just passing so bad. Like, he'll try and pass it to the break and go out for a throw in. And I'm like, what are you doing, Gusto, bro? Like, this is not what you... And I think he's a very talented player. I do. I still think there is a player in him. I just think he's going through a bit of a moment this season, and it's not a good moment for me. He's been awful poor. I'd put him in the yellow box for terms of this season, because I expect him to be in every season, from what I've seen from the Pot season, at least decent or in very good. Probably even a bit higher.
100%. We was having debates last season about, does Reece start when he comes back? Because that's how good Gusto was. You know, for me, after Palmer, he was our second best player, bro. He was consistent. When we went to the Emirates last season, bro, we missed him and Palmer. We're having to play Gilchrist, instead of Gusto. It was peak. Yeah. You know, he got a lot of assists last season. I think he got 8 assists last season. You know, I'm overlapping. So I'm just hoping that Maresca will start to use him more like that, innit? You know, he done it a little bit against, I think it was Villa. But bro, overall, Gusto himself is having a moment, like what you've said, Jem. But again, he's young. I'm not worried about him. I know his quality. We've seen how good this guy was last season, bro. So I can definitely see him bouncing back. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. So yeah, we will agree. Poor, awful season. Jackson, bro. Jackson, Jem. I'll start with you, Jem. You thought about Jackson, man?
Okay. So if we look at the stats, the stat side of it, he's in double digits. I think again he's on, is it 14 or 15 with GA at the moment, which is all right, pretty good. Yeah, let's say. All right, he got injured. However, what I cannot forgive this guy for is that period between Everton, Ipswich, Palace, and someone else before he got injured. Fulham. Yeah. There were 4 games where where our wingers, by the way, and our 10s were creating still for my man when we weren't even playing that well, for him to put it in the back of the net and just be the difference maker in them games. And him doing what we've seen him do in the past under Poch, which was missing the targets, in them moments. For me, as a striker, is a big judgment. You can't ignore that with Jackson. His all-round game is very good. Yes, we know that he helps us carry the ball up. He's physical. All of that, okay, I get. But them 4 games going into that period were just atrocious for me, because not only did he start missing chances and you could see the confidence dropping out of him, but even his overall game disappeared. We was watching 10 men Chelsea when Jackson was in that period. So, you know, from what was a very good season for him, for me, he's just gone down into decent, maybe even poor, but I think it's harsh to say poor, so maybe just decent. But when you look at where we could have been if he took the chances in them 4 games when we were struggling, some people might even say poor. So
that's the game we started in Cuckoo and Distorsi. Lion Share, you're spot on when you say that. But what Jim's trying to say is during that period when we
a lot
of chances, bro. Even against Everton, He had 2 good chances in the box. Even against Palace, bro. Don't forget Palace. I was there at that game as well, bro. Man missed some.
Don't forget Bournemouth either, bro. Bournemouth at home.
You know what I mean? But go on, Ads. Go on, Ads.
Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that he didn't play against Ipswich, I was going to say that Jem is spot on with like the assessment of that period, because he missed some big chances in that period that we needed that. And that was a point in the season where we were playing really good football. We were at times going 1-up in games, but we just didn't kill teams off. I think the last win that we had before that period of games was Brentford, and we went 2-0 up. And I think it was Jackson that actually that scored the second goal. I think Enzo played a really good ball in behind. Jackson scored. That made it 2-0. They got to go back and threw in way more, but 2-0 lead, we were able to at least see it out with a 2-1 win. But it was like after that, whenever we were playing well, it was only a 1-goal lead we could get. And because of our defense, which is why none of our defenders are really going to get ranked too highly today, we always needed a second goal to give us that extra buffer. And whether it was Jackson or some of the other wingers or attackers or Palmer, we just weren't scoring enough goals given how dominant we were in games. And I remember the Bournemouth game especially, because for me, that was one of our best halves of football.
Facts.
But we were only 1-0 up, but we bopped them. And that was Bournemouth who were coming into the game with like 7 or 8 undefeated. They were on really good form. They've kept up for pretty much that period since.
We had 5 big chances in the first half, bro.
Yeah.
5. You know what I mean?
For me, that's
why when people are just blaming Maresca, like Maresca takes blame for certain things this season, right? And I even had this energy for Poch. I hated Poch, but I had this energy for Poch as well. There was games where Poch wasn't so much the problem. It was more the players, right? They kept missing. They kept missing chances after chance after chance, right? But the problem I had with Poch is I found myself blaming him more than the players consistently, bro. From early doors, you know what I'm saying? Whereas with Maresca, we were giving him praise for basically up until Christmas, and then he dropped off. You know what I'm saying? But back to Jackson, bro, the finish is just pathetic. Like we've got one of the worst conversion rates in the league, bottom with Leicester and Southampton, bro. It's an absolute joke, and these are teams that are going down. Wolves, they've got conversion rate which is as bad as ours, pretty much. It's shocking, bro. So I'm just hoping that he's been training. He's been injured right now, but I don't know if he's been back on the grass and whatnot. I've seen a few pictures of Lavia, Badiashile and that. I haven't seen anything of Jackson, but this guy needs to just train every day, bro. Do an extra 2-3 hours after training. The same thing. Make it muscle memory, because the way you shoot, bro, is honestly pathetic. Yeah, this is not.
It's amateurish. I mean, it does resemble somebody who didn't actually fully finish academy football. Which he didn't do. So it is very frustrating, because again, the point I was making with the Bournemouth game is we were so brilliant, and he was brilliant too, other than just the finish. Because there was a chance that Noni squared to him, he fluffed it. He missed some other good chances that Sancho set up. There was one moment where he took the ball from inside our own half, dribbled the whole way. He did hit the post from like 25 yards. It was a good effort. So we were unlucky. But at the same time, like, it's just unfortunate that through that period of games, there were a lot of situations where he just wasn't putting the ball in the back of the net when we needed it. So that was super frustrating.
Yeah,
but exactly. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can really put him in a tier below Fofana, because people forget, or it's because it was such a long time ago. But at the start of the season, this guy was putting up very good numbers. And then think about the West Ham game. Think about other games where he was performing and scoring good goals for us. So I don't disagree with anything that's been said. Mm-hmm. I do hear it. Decent is probably fair. I just feel like he was in very good for most of what he was doing this season until his form fell off a cliff, and then obviously he got injured, innit? So it's tough for me.
This guy's nearly on double digits now, if he doesn't score against Spurs, I think that's his 10th game where he hasn't scored, bro. So you have to put him in decent, because like I said for Cole, some of it was good, very good, and some of it's been bad. You know what I'm saying? And the main thing he's got to be doing is scoring goals. And now you get what I'm saying about decent, Jem. He's been the best of both worlds, innit? You know what I mean? So I'm going to put him decent.
Put him to the left of Giyu, though, innit? Like, Giyu's not ahead of him in the decent category.
No, but in the
okay, different type of decent, isn't it? Like when we're talking about it, it's like we're not
like this.
But in terms of the overall game,
I'll put Jackson number 1.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. Again, Jackson, he was good for parts of the season. Very, very good. To the point where people were like, "Oh, do we need a striker?" People were doing that, but eventually it turned the other way, which is unfortunate. And again, it's more not even on the manager. It's more on the directors for not buying somebody else to be with this guy, because we flopped the Osimhen deal on the last day, and we then didn't go and sign anybody in January. It's just criminal decision making from this board. So somebody needs to come in to be there to compete with this guy, because we know Mikel does this run every other week about how Drogba didn't have to do it by himself, but it's true. Drogba had Shevchenko there to battle with, Anelka to battle with, Torres to battle with, eventually afterwards Costa as well. Like, so it can't just be Jackson in a vacuum by himself. We need to get somebody else.
We got Issa for this as well. It says Don hates Jackson, man, criticizing him too much more than his lover boys Cole or Noni. Cole should be sold ASAP, bro. I've criticized Noni. I've criticized Cole. I literally just said earlier, this guy was acting like a child on the pitch, and he's been poor in a lot of games recently, right? Noni, I've criticized him even before he got injured. I kept staying in the box. Me and Ibrahim, because Ibrahim hates Noni. And me and Ibrahim agree on a lot of things, because what he says about him, I say the same thing, bro, right? In the box, he's very indecisive. Takes too long to shoot. Sometimes he can just pass it, doesn't do it, you know? So even though he's coming back, and I think he's probably our best winger, right? Like right now, when you actually deep it in terms of what he's been offering for us, yeah, he's still not Olise, you know. So let's see what he does when he comes back. But I've been criticizing all of them the same way, bro. Yeah, Jackson, bro. I think Jackson's a squad player. I think he can improve, right? But to say I hate him, I don't hate him. I just hate his finishing. I hate his finishing, in fact. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's move on to the next person. So we've got Reece. I mean, we kind of spoke about him earlier, so we'll make it quite quick, Jem. Go on, you can rank him, bro. Where would you put Reece?
In the short, trying to analyze his games now. Obviously, he scored that free kick and won us the game. Listen, having Reece James back in the team is just a big bonus anyway when it comes to us, and you can see the quality levels of him in the team. Have I liked him playing in the midfield area? Not too much. However, you know, he's still done what he needs to do, and he's just very important in what we're doing. I can never say poor, because he's not been poor. Is he decent? Is he very good based on what limited time we've seen again, because he's had the injuries still partly. I don't know.
Don't forget that Newcastle game. Remember when we fucking beat Newcastle, bro? He was man of the match for me. The way he was defending that game was mad.
Yeah, is he good enough to be very good?
Last minute of the game, I'm sure he played the ball off the line, innit?
Yeah, he did. He's had good moments, but it's not like that. Other than the free kick where we needed him, and that obviously their moments. I don't really think there's been much to assess to his game. Obviously, he scored in the Conference League as well, didn't he? With that banger out, like 25 yards out as well.
I think it's been decent.
Decent. I don't know where he should be in the good bracket. That's what I'm trying to understand.
I mean, maybe if we had more brackets, we could put him somewhere else. But for what we have now, I think decent's fine. I mean, he's obviously had some very good, if not amazing, moments. It's just, again, similar to Fofana, he's not played enough. But obviously, with Fofana, there was just more. There's just been a higher body of work. With Reece James, it's been less. So for me, high, decent. You know, probably just behind Jackson on this tier list. I would put him at, which is fair. You know. Again, if we see more of it, then we know. If we see more of Reece, we know he's going to be at the very least very good, if not amazing, because that's the level of player we're talking about.
Oh, 100%, bro. I've just moved Amari Kellerman as well, because this guy he's got another injury. You know what I mean? But let's move on to Lavia. I'll go to you, Ads, with this one. We won't stay too long on this guy because we've barely even seen him. But for the games that we have seen him, bro, Man City at home, you know, you've got we played obviously Liverpool away. He was very good. He played the United game as well, innit? Played in that game. He's played a lot of the games this season, bro. Like even at Spurs, he started the first half. What have you thought about Lavia this season? And I know we've barely seen him, but what have you thought about his performance?
Yeah, I mean, for the ranking system, just slap him in decent to average. He's going to be somewhere in there because we've just not seen enough again, which is very frustrating. You mentioned United game. That's probably the only game this season where I wasn't really happy with him, which is mad. Because he was shit that game, but that's the only game. Other than I see Leicester when he gave away a stupid penalty at the end of that game. But other than that, this guy's been class, bro. Like he's had a lot of amazing performances, a lot of great performance, like very good performances. So it's frustrating that again we're just not getting to see enough of him. You know, that period before when Enzo wasn't in good form and then actually Lavia came in and benched him. Like Lavia was performing really good those times. You know, so but obviously for the basis of this system, he's got to go in decent.
Yeah, bro. I'm just hoping that between now and the end of the season, this guy can stay fit, bro. Yeah, I don't want to be seeing guys out of position. I want to see every single player, right, in their position. If you play maybe one or two of them out of position slightly, you can get away with it, innit? But when you're playing bare people out of position, like what Poch was doing, it fucks up the dynamic of the team, bro. You ain't gonna see the best of people. I wish I could get Ibrahim for this one. You know, Noni. You know what I'm saying, Jeb? Right? Let's talk about Noni, man, because for me, for me, yeah, this guy's given us the best output from any of the wingers that we've got this season, which is mad for me to even say. Neto hasn't put more output than him. Neither has Sancho. You know what I'm saying? Neither has George, right? And right now, let's be real, bro. We've actually missed this guy, which is damning for me to be even saying. Like I was saying earlier, bro. Like he could have done more when he was here, but we've actually missed him. You know what I'm saying, Jem?
Yeah.
Where would you sort of put him, man?
7 goals, 3 assists this season in the Premier League. You know, come up with some important goals. I think was it the hat trick scored against Wolves? Was it that he scored?
Yeah.
Wolves. I think he's been good this season. I do think he's still inconsistent though. He has these games where he just disappears, you know. And I'm like, Mads, like we need you to step up, bro. Where are you? And he's just not it, you know. And then you'd have Neto come on for him or Sancho, and he'd get pulled out. But in terms of what I think he's improved in is in front of goal, scoring. You know, taking his opportunities, which is good, and we're missing that right now. I just like Madueke because I like how direct he is. My only problem with him is sometimes he just overthinks when he gets to there. Like, you know, just release it and you go 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, and it's just like he'll make the wrong pass sometimes. So he just needs to improve parts of his games, his final third decision making. You know, add more assists to his game because he has the ability to do that because he's a good dribbler and he can beat people. But I would say he's probably going. Ooh, tough one. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to put him in very good.
I think very good. I mean, hey, a quarter of his output was against Wolves, bro, which is right. You know, what I mean, a lot of his goals came against Wolves, Jem, bro. There's a lot of games where he's playing, bro. I actually think
decent, very good. Either I don't mind, but I think he's been better than he was under Poch. That's for sure. So
no. That's where I disagree. Yeah, that's Ibrahim's reading my mind right now. Ibrahim's actually reading my mind, bro. Because if you guys remember last season, second half of the season when Noni came back into the team, and when we went on that little run to get top 6, we wasn't losing any games and that. Bro, Noni was playing very well. I remember he scored against Villa. He scored against Luton, that sick goal. He scored against Sheffield, right? He scored against there was another team I can't remember now, but he scored some goals. He was creating for people. He was being way more direct, like what Ibrahim's saying. This season, I'm not seeing man on any take-on list. Usually I would. Even when he first came, I was seeing him on the take-on list, bro. This time around, like, it makes sense because when I'm watching
he's scoring goals, man. He's being more clinical with moments, which is unusual for him. So, like, when he's getting in them positions and we need him,
scoring goals. I don't know about scoring goals because, again, 3 of them came up against Wolves. There's a lot of games where he's blanked. It's like Palmer.
4, actually.
4
he scored 5. He scored 5 all last season and he's on 7. All right. Like
but he's had way more opportunities this year. Last year he was coming off the bench a lot. You know, he was playing again towards the end of the season. He was injured at the beginning, and whatnot. So for me, bro, I actually think he was better last season. And when he comes back, I really hope he starts to run at people the way he was last season because he was doing it a lot more.
He was doing it against Brian. He was absolutely skinning Lamptey? I remember Lamptey he was up against. He was absolutely skinning Lamptey.
He started well. He started well against Brighton. But I'm telling you, there's been games this season where I'm like, yo, Noni, you're better than this. I know you're better.
I agree. I've already said that. I agree. I'm not his biggest fan, but what I'm saying is I've liked what I've seen of him in parts this season. I think he's been quite good, but yeah, he still misses that clinical edge in himself and being direct and trying to beat a man 100%. Like that's stuff that he needs to work on. But in this moment in time, would I love Noni Madueke back in our team? Yeah, because I want someone to beat a man and be direct and attack the space. And he does do that when he can do it, you know? So.
How about you, Ads, man? Because you big up Yomagalo. It says Noni dribbles per 90 down by half this season. It makes sense. I'm telling you, bro. He's not been as direct this season, man.
Yeah, I think if we're having a conversation about Maresca, he's definitely taken a lot of the individualism out of this team, right? Obviously, with Poch, he was quite an old school manager. So, like, yeah, he isn't as regimented in tactics. He's a lot more like, oh, just go express yourself, guys. There's a basic system, and then the rest of it is down to you guys, which I don't like, but for players like Noni, it did at least allow them to be a bit more themselves. This season, yes, Noni's given us some very good performances. He stepped up in moments. We've seen him step up more in terms of being more like wanting to like score goals and trying to be more decisive for us, which is good. But again, in terms of dribbles, I'm not really liking the fact that he's not doing as much there, not as much settling, the defender that's on his side. It also doesn't help that at times he's not getting the overlap from like Gusto, which is what Gusto was giving him towards the end of last season. So all in all, for me, he's better than everybody that is indecent so far. that is indecent. But would I put him in very good? Still, honestly, no, because the standard that I have for wingers at Chelsea is higher than what I've seen so far from anybody. He's better than all of our other wingers this season, and similar is to Jackson, where there's been very good and there's also been very bad. And for me, I think his season is going to be defined by what he does when he comes back, because I need to see him stepping up and showing what we actually are saying that we've been missing. Don't just come back and be as much as mid as everybody else has been. Come back and actually give us goals, crack 10 goals in the league, and like take people on, like make things happen. So he needs to go and do that. But for me, it's just it's good. It's high decent, but I can't say very good.
100%, bro. If we had Olise starting ahead of him and Noni came in and did what he's doing this season, I'm telling you, no one would really hate him like that. They'll be like, do you know what? It's a decent squad player to have. But for a guy that's starting week in, week out, bro, I'm sorry, I expect a lot more, bro. He frustrates the hell out of me when he gets in the box. Like, he's so indecisive. I mean, like, just literally, bro, just be in there and just decide what you want to do before you even get in the box. And bam, right? Look at the goal he scored against Forest, bro. He didn't think twice. He just took the ball.
He don't think he's better.
Yeah,
but he doesn't think he's better, really. It's weird when he's like, and then he's just like, it's just
so annoying. Honestly, it's so annoying, bro. Honestly,
Greasy Don CFC, you just upset me by reminding me that we were so close to getting Olise, bro. The guy that I was like, literally. Okay, let me not even say what I was doing, but bro, I was excited to see this guy, bro. I was excited to see this guy. I was gonna say something crazy. Let me not get clipped up like that. But listen, I wish we signed this guy.
Rafinha and him.
I mean, that would have been crazy. But again, with Olise, like I watched this guy just over flipping international break, save France in the Nations League game against Croatia, bro. Incredible free kick, and this guy was playing as a 10, bro, balling out of his mind. So let me not expect but like just that level would have been crazy. But what we got to do with is drug cheats and Noni and that. But it's long.
We're not onto the drug cheat as of yet. One to Jorgensen, bro. Let me go to you, Jim. I wish Couch was here for this one, man, because he's been chefing this guy.
Yeah, Couch has got to take a big fat L when he's in. That's what he's got to take on this.
Did you not see that clip of Sanchez the other day? Fucking playing against Palace.
Yeah.
Bro, we're downgrading the Couch to like a flipping armchair, bro. The armchair critic is what he's going to be for now, bro.
I don't know what's happened to Couch's judgment. Back in the day, he used to be so on it, but these days, he's listen, we've not seen enough of Jorgensen. He got dropped when he shouldn't have, in my opinion, for a bozo who shouldn't be playing in our goal anymore after the amount of opportunities he's been given for God knows how many seasons now, 2 seasons in a row, and the amount of games we've seen him. He lets us down in big games. He's done it against Arsenal, if you remember that game, but even before they scored. How many times when my man just making the defence feel uncomfortable because his brain just went into brain fog moment again, where he just does like, why is Maresca watching when it comes to this guy? I don't get it. But in terms of Jorgensen, look, the Villa game I can't forgive him for, because we would have walked away with a draw in that game if he didn't fucking fumble it under him. But other than that, from what I've seen of Jorgensen, is a guy that, and I've already said this about Jorgensen, he's much better than Sanchez on the ball. I don't care what anyone says. He is more comfortable on the ball than Sanchez. He plays it out better. He's more relaxed, which I like. In terms of like shot stopping, is there much in it between them? Probably not in terms of shot stopping.
He made a mad save when Delap tried to bang.
The problem is we're not seeing enough of him again to say he's crap and sell him, because I don't think we should sell him. I think he'd be a good second goalie still, but we still need that main goalie, in my opinion. And get rid of Sanchez, and you make sure you get rid of that other one from Bournemouth as well. So at the end of the day, I'm going to put him in. I'm not going to say poor. I'm just going to put him down in decent, because I don't think he's been poor. I think he had one poor moment, but other than that, another game
I think the goal against Brighton,
he's been all right.
I think the goal against Brighton that Matoma scored, he should do a lot better than that, to be fair, bro.
Yeah, I forgot about that one as well.
Against Villa as well. But what pisses me off about that Villa performance, right, is, bro, this guy made some decent saves, or like good enough saves in that game, and then he let himself down at the end of the game, bruv. How about you, Ads? Where would you sort of rank him, man?
It's difficult because again, the sample size isn't too big with him. In the Conference League, mostly decent games. Remember, he was actually very good against Heidenheim. Yes, made some really good 1v1 saves. In the Prem, when he's played, the Brighton game, again, the Matoma save he should have made. The second goal, like, Minte made him skank crazy on the line. And obviously then Aston...
I'm charging that to fucking Chalobah for not clearing the ball. and putting the team under mad pressure, bruv.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, it's not even like, oh, that's a keeper mistake. It's just the way that he sold on that skank was just like, I just want to see my keeper be a bit more composed there. But again, I just feel like when I'm watching him, I don't feel like he's top. I think he's better than Sanchez, but I just feel like I want to see more from this guy. But that being said, it's really on the manager, or sorry, it's on the sporting directors for not signing me a goalkeeper. He was going to come in and be like, oh, I'm the number one. This guy, for a number two, he's decent. He's low decent. I would put him exactly where you have him. He's the lowest of the guys in decent because we've not seen too much. When he got an opportunity, he was, not great. Then fumbled against Villa, was fine against Southampton, made a pretty decent save in that game as well. And then obviously got dropped. So there's not really much to go off. So yeah, man, it's frustrating. But yeah, where he is fine.
Bro, let's even talk about my man next before we even talk about Mikhailo, bro. And for some reason, he's not even on this list. Jem's boy, Chalobah, bro. Yeah? We could rank this bozo. Tell us about Chalobah, bro.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, I've been a little bit disappointed with the way that he returned, to be quite honest with you, because I actually saw a defender that on the back of the Thiago Silva season when he was here, playing quite well, tied it up. You can tell he looked like he tied up a lot of his game, very comfortable on the ball. Decision making was good. He was winning aerial. I just liked what I saw. I saw someone that I thought maybe picked up some decent traits from what we call a dying breed of defender, which is Thiago Silva. But, he goes off to Palace. Yeah, fine. He comes back. I thought his first game back was good at the Bridge. I can't remember who we played at. He should have had a goal as well. I think Madueke took it off the line. So, yeah, it was good. But then, like all our other defenders that have been meaty, I've got to admit, he's been meaty. And it's just weird because I thought he would come back and give us that bit more of a bit more control. Is probably the word. Yeah. Experience and control. I didn't expect him to be like the defender that we've met. I've never made him like that, like the defender we've always needed. He's not like that. But I just thought from what we had and what was going on with with Fofana out as well, I thought him and Cole might have been able to do something. But yeah, the Man City game was what killed it for me really, because I thought the first half he performed quite well. In my opinion, I thought the first 45 minutes he was headering balls out, he was watching it runs in behinds and whatever, and then we just got caught. And as soon as they got that first one, we just went. They both went downhill. Not even just him, but I know he slipped on the Haaland goal. And Sanchez was just doing matters. But even after that, the Brighton game, ball watching in the box. Just things that I don't like seeing that I didn't expect to see with Chalobah was still showing, and that was just a shame for me. So
I'm telling you, that's something that's not going to leave this guy, bro. I was warning people. I said, bro, you have not seen the shit he's been doing for Palace because you don't watch Palace, right? I've seen some of their games because I do This Is London with D. So I try to watch some Palace games here and there or their highlights or whatever. I watched their game against Arsenal. I'm seeing man just getting chopped up in the box. I think it was a game against Man City, I think it was. He's getting chefed up everywhere, right? And I've always told you, Jem, this guy is never far away from being a bozo, yeah? I've watched Chalobah long enough to know that he's never far away from just doing some weird shit. You know what I'm saying? So since he's been back, I can count about 4 or 5 goals, yeah, that he's been at fault for, bro. Even against Brighton, man just cleared it straight to them. You know what I mean? Like the other day we played in a conference.
Well, he headed it out. It landed to the defender.
He kicked it out.
You're talking about the one he kicked out. I was talking about the one where he headed it out and it come back in and they scored. FA Cup.
Even one of the headers that they scored, Ruta, right? Chalobah's just ball watching. He don't even know Ruta's behind him, bro. Right? I'm thinking a better defender there is gonna do something. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just a waste of time. When I saw the bomber from Ornstein, I saw bare people getting gassed. They were getting gassed about, Clear Lake have lost. I'm thinking, bro, this ain't even a Clear Lake of lost thing here. This is embarrassing because we need better than this guy. Don't bring him back. Leave him at Palace. Yeah. And you're going to see in the summer, he's going to get flipped for fucking straight profit. We've got to get rid of him. He's not good enough. Right. So for me, I'm saying awful. How about you, Ads?
Oh, for Chalobah, man. I mean, bro, he had such a good re-debut, He was actually man of the match.
Yeah, listen, let me even tell you something. I was at that Wolves game, yeah? Bro, these men were not even trying to press us. He had so much time on the ball to basically have a picnic at the back. Yeah? I'll charge that.
He was spreading balls, man. He was picking balls left and right.
Yeah, exactly.
I like seeing, man. I was like,
he had all that time but Jem, he wasn't being pressed, bro. He wasn't being pressed. He had all the time in the world, to do what he wanted to do with the ball. Right?
I've seen this man lock up Luis Diaz in a final against Liverpool. I remember him coming back from injury and playing against Luis Diaz in the final against Liverpool and locking my man up. There is good traits in this guy, I'm telling you, but I just don't know. I agree with you. There's too many too many moments, you know. So I hear it.
Too many.
But I mean, listen. For me, again, even in that game, I thought he did actually do quite well against Larson. He's a physical striker, but again, we've seen in weeks after that it wasn't great. My estimation of Chalobah's probably gone down slightly, but I've always kind of rated him around this level where, like, I feel like he's not going to be that great amongst mid CBs, which is what we have a bunch of mid CBs, especially with Fofana being out. But when he's alongside Thiago Silva, we saw his form be extremely good to end last season. That's why he was starting ahead of Baddy and Desarci, and I think even Colwell as well was on the bench, because he was the guy alongside obviously Thiago Silva. But now there's no leader, now there's no alpha CB there. We've got a lot much of beta CBs, and there's nothing wrong with necessarily being like the secondary guy, like the guy that needs to like follow. But we have no leaders, so these guys are all followers at CB. It doesn't work. So again, you can put him in awful. Awful's fine. It is what it is. There's another mid CB that we have.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, listen, I hear it, bro. And for me, I thought he actually did quite well last season when he played next to Silva. It pissed me off when Poch dropped Silva and Chalobah when we played Arsenal, twins. That was a mad decision. You know what I mean? That was a very, very crazy decision. So listen, I give a man props when when a man plays well, but bro, I can only speak about what I watch. And for me, Chalobah's never a guy that I'll ever trust. And he's 26, 27 now. He's not a kid. He's nearly 30, bro. You know what I mean?
He's better in the back three than he is a 4, I think, still. I think he's useful when playing the 3 off the right, because that's just his natural position, I think. But
we've got a lot of experience now, Jem. He's meant to be teaching these kids, and he's just showing it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's talk about Mikhailo. Yeah? Let's talk about I'll go straight to you, Ads. I'll go straight to you. Go on. Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
What is there to talk about?
Well, we're talking about Lance. Lance Armstrong, bro. Mr. Sharapova we're talking about. Mr. Sharapova we're talking about. Listen, this guy is a drug cheat. Yeah, listen, this guy belongs with the likes of Mutu, bro. Yeah, this guy tried to cheat the beautiful game of football, and I can't stand it. People like him, honestly, they don't deserve to kick a ball ever again. So listen, I hope we get our money back. I know there's like a rule in football where like clubs like us, as long as we can, plead, like we had no knowledge of him doing what he did, against the beautiful game. And we can get our money back. And if we can, that'll be amazing. But other than that, listen, this guy ain't all that. I've been saying it since he joined us, since I started watching him week in, week out, because I can't lie. I saw the YouTube comps. I saw, he got applauded off by the Bernabeu. I thought, there's some talent here. And he had a decent-ish debut against, 40-year-old James Milner. Cool. But after that, when I see this guy on a weekly basis and I'm watching him live, I'm like, okay, you have ability, but talent isn't enough. Like the tattoo says, talent isn't enough. This guy he's got the IQ of like a 15-year-old on the pitch. He just isn't good enough. And this season, as much as there were some decent cameos, and I'm sure Dom will talk about how we came off the bench and created a good chance that Jackson missed or Nkunku missed. Cool, there were a couple of those moments, but overall, this guy wasn't good enough. Again, him and Noni started the season off in the same boat. Both were dropped against Man City. Both of them started against Wolves. One of them went on to score a hat-trick. And when they, by the way, went into that town saying that town's a dump and they still balled out, the other one got hooked at halftime. That's just what it is. And for the rest of the season, as much as there were some decent moments here and there, it wasn't great. So, yeah. Man. And then obviously Conference League court, he had some moments in the Conference League court, even though, bro, let's not forget, he started off quite poor. He started off quite poor in the Conference League. Remember, Mersky was getting onto this guy saying that this guy, he needs a lot of work. He was cooking Mudryk in the press conferences. So much as he improved a little bit after that, it wasn't enough.
That woke him up, bro. That woke him up after that. You're forgetting, right? Because for me,
but did that wake him up or did the drugs wake him up, though? Like, let's clarify. What actually woke him up?
Bro, as it is right now, a man's innocent until he's proven guilty. You feel me? He's innocent. I
don't know about all that, because man's saying he ran the full length of the pitch, but he was on PEDs. Man was on performance enhancing drugs. Of course he's running past, man. What do you want them to do?
Bro, listen. Go on, Jem. Before I come in, go on, Jem. Because
I'm going to be quick because it's funny because I'm in the middle of a Mudryk backer and a Mudryk hater, should I say, in between when it comes to it. But my feeling with Mudryk is just simple. How, when you look at his GA this season, 7 games, 0 goals, 0 assists. I know he hasn't been given a ton of starting times when it comes to playing for us, and more of his time's been in the Conference League. The reason I would put him in poor season is just because he's let us down as a club, because he should be helping Sancho right now on that left and giving us minutes and supporting the team. Last season, he didn't do that. this season, yeah, there was flashes and moments, mainly in the Conference League, of a player that you can see might actually improve under a manager. Yes, I agree partly. But in terms of what we've seen and what's happened, it's just not enough proof still for me. So I only base it on what I see and what he's done to this point. And yes, proven until guilty. I agree with you. But it's affecting our football club right now. And we're having to play people like Sancho every blooming game because Mudryk made that decision. So at the end of the day, you know, it's got to be a poor season for me, easily, you know.
Listen, for me, I've always said with Mudryk, I can definitely see the potential in him, right? I know it's very frustrating. There's times where man will just kick it into row Z. There's times where he's not even running. Like there was a game I was at the Bridge. I can't remember what team we played last season, where Enzo's literally pointing at him to running behind.
Yeah.
And it's like he was just watching. It's like he was watching his family in the crowd doing something, bro. You know what I mean, right? So I get all of that, bro. I get people's frustration, but I feel like with Mudryk, people are very harsh on this guy and they ignore any good that he does for the team, right? Last season, I was honestly seeing this guy creating some good chances for the likes of Jackson, and they keep missing, bro. Right? I'm seeing him running past people, taking people on, causing a bit of mayhem, and people miss when there's end product at the end of it. Right? I'm seeing him actually shooting. Yeah, I know people laugh at some of his shots, but he actually scored some goals last season. Right? Let me ask you right now, Ads. What did you think of Neto before he signed for Chelsea, bro? You think he was a good player?
Yeah, I thought he was direct. I thought he has decent Prem experience, and he could give us something on the wing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I'm about to show you something. Yeah, this is Mudryk last season, and this is Neto last season. This is their season, bro. Yeah, both of them. So I showed this to Neeks the other day. Big up Neeks, because Neeks was saying how Mudryk's crap and Neto is talented, right? If you go check their metrics last season, bro, it's pretty much identical. You have Neto's progressive carries, 92.5%. Mudryk's on 89.9%. Yeah, Neto, 82.4% dribbles. Mudryk, 79.4%. The NPG, Mudryk cleared him because he scored more goals than him. He scored 5 goals. Neto scored 2 goals, right? The expected goals and expected assists is identical, bro. Assists is a lot lower for Mudryk because he only got 2. Neto got 9, I think it was. But yeah, obviously, we had some shit finishes last season, bro. Right? Mudryk was creating. Guys aren't finishing them. Last season, Mudryk had 6 big chances. Neto had 7. You know what I mean? Attacking actions, bro, pretty much the same. And you can see the minutes played. Mudryk played, what, 65 more minutes than this guy? 60 more minutes than this guy, right? So this is what I'm telling people, bro.
But can I say to that? Can I say as a rebuttal to that, right? Like, I said what I said about Neto, and I'm not going to revise what I said. I had an opinion of Neto, but that was before watching him week in, week out. Because when I watched Neto 90 minutes, it was against big teams where there's oceans of space. This guy's all about being direct, and sometimes he would play striker, and he's just about getting onto the end of things. But what I realized with Neto is technical ability-wise, he's not actually that levels.
Well, Mudryk's better than him on the ball, man. Come on, let's be real.
I would actually agree to an extent. Yeah, I would. But the only thing with Mudryk is with Mudryk, as much as Mudryk has decent technique, he also has the ability to just cock up something out of nowhere. Like sometimes, even though I would say he's normally got a good first touch, sometimes the ball will just fall on, just go between his legs, or he'll make a bozo mistake for no reason. And again, that's because in his mind or the way he plays football, he plays like he's 17, 18 because he didn't have this extensive experience like a lot of other players. He didn't come through the academy at a top football team. In Ukraine, when he was playing at the time, during the time where they were war-torn, by the way, and I'm not trying to even mock it, I'm just saying they were war-torn at the time, they weren't even playing that many minutes. So again, this guy isn't seasoned in football like that, which is why he needed a loan way long ago. Now he needs to just be sold because he isn't that guy.
Exactly. And that's what I always tell people, bro. Like, people used to just look at the price. Well, people still do that now. They look at the price and they think we're getting a ready-made player, right? Go look at the guy's experience. Before he came to Europe, well, actually, before he came to England even, he got loaned twice in Ukraine, bro. He even played for one team called Arsenal in Ukraine, right? When I was watching this guy, this was clear to me that this is a player that needs a proper coach. And for me, this is the first time we had a proper coach where you could see him starting to improve, yeah? There was actually a baseline in his performances where I'm seeing him getting the ball. You know, he's not losing it consistently. He's actually thinking about what he's doing. He's scoring better goals this season. You know what I'm saying? Some of the goals that he scored in the Conference League, bro, were brilliant. People would say, oh, it's only Conference League. So why was he outperforming Neto? Because Neto wasn't doing anything in there, bro. You know what I mean? He got an assist for Vega. You know what I'm saying? He came off the bench, like I told you, man. Against Palace, against Forest, he nearly got an assist in those games. So for me, honestly, bro, Mudryk, we need better than this guy. I would like him as a squad player, but I think people are overly harsh because it's just popular. It's popular to crash it on him. When I'm actually watching the guy, I'm like, bro, He's not as bad as what people make him out to be. People talk about his touch. I've gone to a lot of games, people, and I'm telling you now, I see guys like Enzo, Caicedo, punch the ball to Mudryk, and he brings it down and helps us start attacks. I see Mudryk get the ball and just spray it or switch it, bro, right? His passing range is actually underrated. You know what I mean? So, Jem, you can laugh as much as you want, bro.
I'm
just laughing about how long we're taking talking about Mudryk, who's not even playing.
As much as Mudryk can do a lot of these things you're saying, he can also like just simply like get the ball and like, oh, I'm gonna switch the ball and then he'll kick it out of play. And I've seen Mudryk do a lot of things. I'm like, why did you do that? And again, it's just for me, as much as for a compilation, you can find so many good things that he does. But if you were to make a fail comp, you can find one equally as long. And again,
yeah, but
are the good things that he does actually him? Or are they the PEDs? You know, are they actually the PEDs? And again, and again, let me just say to everybody seeing, oh, what about the B sample? Listen, I follow MMA boxing where I know like when it comes to these B sample things, people get misconstrued a lot. The B sample isn't it's literally the same cup of piss that they just split into two. And 90, in fact, I think I calculated, I think it's 99.7% of the time, it always comes back the same as the A sample. So this guy had shit in his system, guaranteed pretty much. I think the only reason why it's been quiet in this case, which is similar to some MMA and boxing cases, is because there's some doubt over what happened, because he's claiming that somebody drugged him on purpose, which is a crazy thing, that somebody managed to slip a needle into you. Like, how does that happen and you didn't know? So that's crazy. That's a crazy thing that he's alleging. But again, this is why it's quiet. They're going through due process. That's why they can't really tell anybody about what's going on. But in the end, he's going to probably be found guilty or liable of some sort, and he won't be allowed to play for us or in this country anymore. I'm pretty much sure of that.
No, listen.
So again, for me, put him in cell because he ain't playing for us anymore, bro.
Bro, listen. For me, I'm putting him. If it's up to me, I'm putting him in decent, because when I've seen him this season, bro, there's been a clear improvement in his game. Last season, I actually thought he had a decent season last year, considering he would play well and Poch would fucking drop him. Like, who in this team right now in attack here, apart from Palmer, scores the goal that he scored against Newcastle, bro? Right? Who's doing that? Neto's not doing that. Sancho
listen, give Sancho some meldonium and he might do that, you know. You never know.
Yeah, it could be the Peds. It could be the Peds, bro. But let's
get to Neto, though. Let's get to Neto, because again, let me even lean on Neto, because again, this guy is somebody that has been that low key might have catfished me in it. Because I looked at him at Wolves thinking, like, you know what, he's direct, he's fast, and I get it. People are gonna be like, oh, wait till he gets a striker, because I remember the times with him and Jimenez and some of the balls that he could whip in with both feet. He's a very good crosser of the ball, and he likes to be direct when there's a striker in it, when there's a focal point. So I get all of that. And I'm obviously willing to see what he does next season. But for me, this season, he can't be anywhere but poor, awful. And I get it. These last few games, he's done a job up front for us. Cool. He works hard off the ball. Great stuff. But for me, in terms of quality, I'm not seeing it. For that long period of time, when he only had one goal and one assist for ages, and for me, that was unacceptable. In terms of the technical ability, I was seeing unacceptable. And again, people keep forgetting this. When people are talking about how they want to crash it on Sancho and stuff, right? Sancho is a loan player who we have an obligation to buy for just over 20 million. Neto, we signed for almost 3 times that amount. There has to be way more scrutiny, pressure, and expectation on a player like Pedro Neto, who is Premier League proven, and yet is playing like us for most of the season. So for me, he's going in awful. If I get outvoted, that's fine. But for me, he should be nowhere else but awful.
No, I agree, bro. I agree. Listen,
I think that's shameless.
I was gassed. Listen, I was gassed when we signed this guy. I'm not gonna act like I was watching a lot of Wolves games, but let's be real, bro. Out of the top 6 clubs, when you spoke about what wingers you take from the the bottom tier clubs, everyone would speak about Neto. Man City would do this guy. Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, they wanted him, and we had no rumors about this guy. He just came out of nowhere. Fabrice Hawkins, Chelsea about to sign Neto. Then we get the here we go from Fab. You know what I'm saying? So I was gassed about it because I'm thinking, yeah, we've got a direct player. We've got someone that can whip in chances. We've got someone that can strike the ball. I know he's not much of a shooter in terms of his goals scored, but he knows how to strike the ball. But, bro, I can't lie, he's been underwhelming. Very underwhelming. And I'm telling you, bro, I've seen, I don't want to go back to Mudryk, but I've seen more from Mudryk at Chelsea than I have Neto, bro, right? I think it's been better once he's been playing up top. I'm telling you, Jem. I'm sorry, but I'm so sorry.
I disagree.
But
Jem, just to that point, the fact that Don thinks he can even argue that. Jem, even if you don't agree, and I don't agree, by the way, I don't even agree, but the fact that Don thinks he can argue Mudrik's been better, isn't that saying enough that Neto's been way underwhelming for what we expected to see?
Number one, he's got 12 GNA this season. Yeah, in all competitions, which is still not amazing. How many awful, is it? Yeah, but wait a sec. Isn't this guy also given us a problem solved for the last 3-4 games? He's actually adapted his game and helped us have some sort of attack. Given us some sort of attack going forward. And at least looked good. And I've even said in this period that him, Caicedo, Cucurella, and Enzo have been the ones that have actually done quite well and dug in, even when
I appreciate that, but rank him just as a winger, though. What he's done for us this season on the wing, like, what do you think of that?
As a winger, I think he's been underwhelming in moments, but there was also moments earlier in the season when we were all sitting here saying Neto's the first one on the list, and that just goes back to how we look at all our wingers, because we all sit here and go, yeah, he's the best performer, and then a couple of games later we're sitting there going, we expect more from him. They're just inconsistent, unfortunately, and it's not good enough. I agree with you.
But as much as they were all inconsistent, Sancho was actually a fixture when we were in that winning run. Noni was our main right winger. There was no point where Neto was our main starter at a time we were actually performing good. Now he's our main starter at striker because we've got injuries, and I agree. He's given us a good problem solve up there. He's been a good, round peg in a square hole. Cool, he's done a job there. But at the end of the day, as a winger, which is what he was signed to be here, he's been very, very underwhelming, very poor, and he's actually been worse than the other wingers that were signed for less money than him.
No, I agree with that. And I listen, the price tag, we can talk about that all day. We expect more from him. But all I'm saying is he's been as inconsistent with his own performances as a winger as the others have been, which they have to work on and improve on. However, what I have seen from him of recent, even though it's not his position, to be able to do what he has been doing and how he's holding the ball up against these big defenders and linking play and moving, shows me that there's a good player in him. There's a good player there. It's technically not as bad as you think he is. I just think he goes through phases that he needs to stop, because he can be, in my opinion, look very good to the eye, and and he can beat a man, and his final decision making tends to be quite good sometimes. On the other side, it can be awful, where I'm waiting for him to cross the ball and he's not crossing the ball, and my man's just like overthinking the situation, a bit like Madueke. So it's a bit of both for me, but I'll definitely give him another season. I wouldn't say he's soft. For me personally, I would put him in decent. Personally, that's my opinion. I wouldn't say he was bad. I wouldn't say he was great. I'll just say he's decent.
I think there's been certain games, like when he came on against Arsenal, I thought he was good. Well, he started that game actually. I thought he was good. I think when he played against Liverpool, I thought he was good in that game. I thought, obviously scored a very good goal against Arsenal. Against West Ham, he helped us change that game again, right? But like Keyshawn says, this is why I'm not selling my stocks, because I know how good his crosses are, bro. That guy knows how to put people in the box.
He's got a ping on him, man. Yes, he has, yeah.
It's a whip, if anything.
And he knows what the goal is, by the way. He should score more goals, because he's technically, when he hits the ball, he strikes the ball very well. Like, he should be scoring more. Do you know what I mean? So I get that.
The issue is he doesn't create enough separation between him and the defenders, right? Because what he does a lot, he puts his head down and then he'll just twitch and then he'll just whip it in. And there's bare times where I'm like, Neto, run around the defender and come back into the box and attack the box, right? I remember against Palace. If you remember the game against Palace, I saw him doing it early doors. Gave a guy steps, ran past them, passed it into the box. Palmer should have scored. And I'm like, that's the Neto I want to see. But more time, it's just flinch, dance. You know what I mean? Flinch, go backwards. Yeah? Run across the pitch sideways. All the defenders just watch.
I agree.
We did. It just gives it away. You know what I'm saying? So I can't lie. Yeah, I'm with Jem on this one. I'll probably give him like decent. Like,
just decent. Yeah.
As one of the last ones. Isn't it? Because once he's been up top, he's played a little bit better. But I wouldn't give him any more than like.
This he needs to do more.
I'm giving him more.
Much more. Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I'm giving him 10.
I've been outvoted. It is what it is.
I get it. Well, let's go on to Nkuku, because I think we're going to be in agreement with this one. I know time's going as well. I didn't expect to be here for 2 hours. So
I told you, bro. It's not going to be easy doing this. It's been good though, man.
I'll be short and quick if you want with it.
Yeah, we'll just go one by one. We'll just take one each. Go on, if I can, I'll talk on Nkuku quickly. And again, I'm telling you, Don, it's going to take a while to do this, because obviously we all got opinions on these players, and for the most part, we have agreed, to be fair.
But within Kunku, I'll just say it's by far the most disappointing player for me this season because I had such high hopes for this guy. But it's just not panned out. A lot of it is on the manager, how we've used him. But at the same time, for the player that I thought he was and think he still can be at a different club, you've got to show me more. But so it's been pretty awful in terms of what he's shown me. Despite obviously some good form in the Conference League and obviously early on. I mean, listen, preseason he was by far our best player, but we just not used him in that same position where he was like an attacking 8/10. But the season we've used him at striker, out wide, touching, getting chalk on his boots. He's not that kind of player. And obviously, a reason he's been in the 10.
We used him in the 10 against Brighton, and he fucking stunk.
He did stink, and I agree with that. And part of that could be just, is like the lack of confidence and stuff. Obviously, that was a time where he was linked to Bayern and whatnot, so he might be playing not to get injured and stuff like that. But at the same time, I still expect way more from the player. So it's been a poor, awful season, but he could be in sell ASAP because for me, I don't really see the use for him. But I guess if we're just ranking the season, it's probably, middle, poor, awful season.
Jem, I'll be real. I think we should put him in sell, bro. I don't see where he fits into the team, bro. I'll be honest with you.
It really frustrates me because everything I agree with him on in Kunku. I don't know how you don't get one of your only killers in your team in creating chances and scoring goals, and I just don't get it. I don't get any of it. So we just move.
Where are you going to put him in it? Sell or poor season? Do you want to take another?
He's been poor. He's been poor, but he's going to be sold. Huh?
Would you keep him if it's up to you for another season? Would you sell him?
I don't think Maresca's going to utilize him in how I want him to utilize him. I wanted to see him play with Jackson in the 10. Yeah. I didn't want it, and he's not going to do that because Cole Palmer's Mr. Magic, isn't he? Yeah. So it's not going to happen. So what's the point? He's going to go somewhere else. Let him go Bayern Munich, and he'll rip up that league again with Elise and score banging goals. That's what he's going to do. Done.
Cool. Yeah. All right, we'll
leave Cole Palmer.
And Cole Palmer, Jem. Go on, touch upon Cole Palmer. We've spoken about him a lot on this channel. So everyone knows our roots.
In the Premier League, 33 GNA last season. This season, he's on 20 GNA. I don't want to be too critical of him because of what we've seen of recent. However, you can't ignore it. I think he was been very good with Jackson for the earlier parts of the season, all the way up to the Tottenham game where they were both performing well. Jackson got injured and Palmer seemed to kind of follow the dip with him, even though he was available. And whether it's because he's been overplayed, been playing 2 minutes, Maresca just overusing him, or if it's just sheer the fact that he's just fell out of form, which most players do. The problem with really good players, world-class players, is that they all fall out of form at some point. It's just how quick do they get back into that form, And at the moment, he's still blimmin' stale. He's still blimmin' stale, and he's been stale for a while now. How many times have we been sitting here for the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 games saying, where's Cole Palmer? Is this next game's going to be Cole Palmer? Don't worry, he's going to come back. He's not been showing it. So it's hard to argue that he's had a crap season because he's still on 20 GNA in the Premier League and he's still got, X amount of time left to really turn it around. And with the Club World Cup coming up, it could be a very good season for him still. But at this moment in time, it's not looking good, Brev. Do you know what I mean with Cole Palmer? It's literally not looking good. So, do you put him in for a good season? I don't know, but I think decent's probably right, to be quite honest with you, for what he done last season. You have to only compare him to what you saw the season before, and it's not the same. That's for sure.
Exactly, bro. We put him on a pedestal, so we have to hold him to that level, innit? And for me, this season, he's been below par, and people like to blame Maresca. I've spoken about this already, like, it's all Maresca, it's why Palmer's not firing, and I'm like, bro, he's getting in similar situations as to what he was getting in last season. Difference is he was a lot more clinical last year, right? This season, he's been missing chances. He's been greedy when he can pass to guys like Nkuku. Big up Michael. He said it here. Nkuku can't play together with Palmer. Bro, those two must hate each other. They must hate each other. Because as much as I don't like Nkuku up top, we've spoken about this, boys. There's been bare games where Palmer could just slip it to him and get the assist, let Nkuku finish. He just ignores him, Even the last game he played against Copenhagen, he comes off the bench. There's that winger that was running on, in bare space. Palmer could give it to him. He just decides to shoot and he misses. And he done it twice off the bench as well, bro. So he's got to take responsibility, man, because he should have more GA than this. Obviously, a lot of the team have missed a lot of his chances. There was one point where he had over 30 chances created and, no one's burying them, which isn't his fault. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's been games where Maresca's moved him from the right in the first half to the left in the second half. Against the bigger teams, he can be used on the right more to have a little bit more space. He hasn't been used like that. But then there's times where he can take responsibility as well, bro. So it's a mixture of things, isn't it? But overall, I'll give him decent ads. Would you agree?
No, I put him in very good. But I get where most of you guys are coming from for the most part. There was a period where he could have been in, overperforming / amazing, because the season started off, did it even start off slow? He was poor against City, but he obviously didn't have a pre-season. Then he obviously cooked up Wolves with the 3 assists, and he scored as well. He scored that lob, didn't he, against Wolves? We needed it at the time because that was a very shaky first half that we had. Then, was in good form, slapped up Brighton, the amazing pre-assist against Newcastle where he passed that ball to Neto, blind. That was a crazy pass. Had some amazing moments, some of the flair moments that he's given us, nutmegs and stuff. Like, cool. Like, Palmer was doing some cold stuff. But then it got to a point where he would start games off well, but then he would really end poorly, and just he would fall off, and obviously the manager wouldn't ever sub him off or rotate him in the league, And again, we've spoken about that at length many times. So I think a part of his downplaying form is on the manager, and obviously is on himself too, and he needs to pick it up quickly. So yeah, while his form right now is awful form, I still would put him overall in very good for what he's done over the season.
For me, I would say decent, just based off of the level that I put him at. I think that's where me and Jem are kind of sort of speaking about it, because 20 GA is brilliant. And if he didn't get 20 GA last season, we're like, yo, this guy's sitting on 20 GA. But it's the fact that we were seeing this guy being so clinical, his decision-making was A1, and this season, I've seen a drop-off in his performances. I'll be so real. Like, he hasn't performed once against any of the big teams, bro, right? Last season, there's a few examples. Even went to Wembley. Man's creating against Man City. He's creating against Liverpool. That chance that Gallagher, that fucking bozo missed in the last few minutes of the game. We're there together, Jeff. We're fucking there together. That was Cole Palmer that created that chance for him that Gallagher should have buried, right? You know what I mean? So, bro, for me, I'm going to say decent because, again, I put him at a serious level and he's not been at that level. You might know how much I love Palmer as well. Yeah?
No, let me just say that, listen, there was that time during like December and maybe early January where, again, the team was in poor form. But, he was actually, creating a lot of chances. I think there was a stat where he had created something like 30 odd chances, but there were no assists because the team, Jackson and Cole were missing chances. So I feel bad for him in that sense. And that's why I would put him in very good. But one thing you did say that is actually maybe, a content of him being indecent is because, yes, we put this guy on a pedestal because of what he did last year. And even, scoring in the Euros final as well. This guy is, a big name now. And because you're a big name and there's all this hype and the Cole celebration's gone viral, perform in the big games, bro. If it's Sunday, 4 p.m. kickoff, I need to see you turn up. When Martin Tyler says it's live, you need to be there doing the madness. And in all the big games this season, he's not turned up. And that has been so frustrating for me because as much as we could talk about tactics and, the manager made him try to be more pragmatic, he's not used him on the wing at times where he could, he can flourish in big games especially. Still, Palmer, it's on you to perform in big games and to not miss big chances like he did even against Villa. So, you know what? High, decent, probably higher than everybody else there. You know what? I hear it.
I'll put him number one in decent because he's done more than all of them, right? But again, like what you're saying, bro, there's so many things here that he needs to improve on. And for me, I think he can have a serious end to the season. He can make up for this little blip that he's had, man. Because
that's young. What I said. He's got time. He's got time.
What big games do we have left? I mean, Tottenham, United at home, Liverpool. Yeah, he needs to do something in one of these. At least 2 of those games, he needs to do some. He needs to mash work, man.
No, facts. Yeah. Even in the Conference League, bro, he needs to fucking mash in some work.
Well, is that the tall yellow waste of space? That guy is that next?
Land on him.
He needs his own category, bro. You've kind of messed up it.
I think we're gonna put him. Listen, sell ASAP, bro. Yeah, number 1, in fact.
I mean, he needs to be far right because it's like the far right is the worst, as bad as it gets. Yeah, man. There's not what can we say that we've not already said, bro? I'm just listen. Next time Couch is here, I need to see the chat spam armchair analyst, bro, because his name needs to change. We're downgrading him from the couch to armchair because talking about he's clear of Jorgensen, trust the manager, and then he came back and he was a bozo against who was it? Who was it that he played against? Was it Leicester? Where man jumped for some random ball and he was bailed out by Colwell. And then the game after that, Arsenal was doing that bozo stuff again. But this guy is a scrub. He's one of the worst goalkeepers we've ever had, if not the worst. And he's starting for us.
He might be worse than Kepa, I'm not joking. I think he could be on par, or maybe worse than
Kepa in the first season was at least, flattering to the sea in that first season. Sanchez never even gave us that.
So bad.
So
they're in the same
bad.
category. I'll be real. They're in the same
Who was
category.
it? Don sent the video of him at Brighton when he came out to catch the ball and he just dropped it.
Bro, man has a Felcom from like, what was it, Forest Green? He has a Forest Green Felcom.
What are the scouts
It's-
watching, man? Honestly,
he's
what are they watching?
Honestly, Jem, that's what I'm saying. Like, I literally tweeted this the other day. Yeah, like when I saw the chance that the goal that he conceded against Palace, right? Olise whips it in. My man just comes to collect the cross. He just dropped the ball as if the ball was some hot potato, and then it just goes in. And everyone around him just looking at him like they're used to it. They're just going back to their positions as if they're used to it, bro. Right? How the fuck have we allowed Ben Roberts to bring this guy to Chelsea, bro?
Ben Roberts is criminal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's criminal. He's criminal.
Yeah, Ben Roberts. Why the fuck would you bring this guy, bro? I remember a guy on the terrace talking about Sanchez saying, "Yo, I don't want this guy. I would have never signed this guy. It's third choice at Brighton. He makes bare mistakes, right? This Ben Roberts guy's brought him. Let's see if he can change his fortunes." But bro, you can't coach that bozo gene out of it. Yeah, I don't know what he thinks of in the goal. I don't know if he's thinking about whether he's left the iron on at home. I don't know if he's thinking about whether he's left the bath running at home. I don't know if he's thinking about what he's going to eat when he's doing that. His concentration level, they honestly baffle me, right? Because shot stopping wise, Jem, I know he's letting some sus goals, like when Martinelli scored against us, cool. You can even argue the goal against Bournemouth, right? Cool. But overall, this guy's shot stopping is actually not that bad. You know what I mean? It's not a bad shot stopper. It's just everything else, bro. You know, throwing it into the net against Wolves, against Man City, coming out the way he did, bro. Right? There's actually there's a recall charge of this guy's charges, bro. What he's been doing. You know what I mean? You've got to get rid of him as soon as possible, bro.
It's got to that point now where you've got to test him to just see if he's on something. Maybe he's on something the opposite of Mudryk or saying, I don't know, where he's just spaced all the time. Because I swear, my man does not have a brain cell when it comes to football. Because how he goes from a comfortable position and put us into like a place of shock with such a bad pass out. Yeah, and everyone's like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, he's just passed the ball to the striker. Like, how many times have we watched Sanchez get the ball, right? And we're like, all right, just please do the easy pass to the right. You can see the players there. And my man tries to play it into midfield and he just hits the striker. It just loses it. Like, it's embarrassing. He is not Chelsea level. Couch, you should be ashamed of yourself for even sticking up for this man, even up to this late period, right? He is not Chelsea level. He's scum. Get him out of my club. I can't stand him. He gets me. I can't stand the guy, man. He winds me up so much.
Get him out of it. Honestly, bro, get him out of it. Let me even make a role for him, bro. Yeah? Let me even make a role for him, bro. Sanchez,
get out.
Now.
Get out.
Look,
Yeah?
Sanchez cut now. Sell ASAP. You know what I mean?
R.I.P.
Yeah. We're gone, bro.
R.I.P.
I honestly hope we sell this guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's move on to Uncle Tosin. I'll give him to you, Ads. What we thought about Uncle Tosin, man?
He's come in, he's been, he's a decent fourth option as a centre back. I don't mind that. He has some experience. He's a good box defender in terms of getting blocks. Obviously good in the air, big unit. Scored some goals as well, to be fair to him. Scored some bangers actually. But overall, I'd say just like low, decent. He's given us something, but he's not obviously top tier or anything like that. We know that. So I'll just say low, decent. Around below Lavia for sure. Maybe like just above Neto. He's around there.
Yeah.
Somewhere around
all the way down here, bro. Nah, come on now. He's been better than that, bro. I'll probably put him even here, like fourth. I think he's actually come in and done a good job, bro. Like,
I agree with you. I think Tosin's been good in the short spaces.
He's been injury prone and I hear it. I'm not mad at it.
I think Tosin's. I think some of the blocks that he done in the box I think it was the Brentford game where we won 2-1, where he just threw his body at the ball and just stopped it from pretty much going in the back of the net. We could have drew that game. I think he's been quite. What I like about him is just how, like, when the ball's in the air and it comes and he's got to deal with the striker. He deals with the striker 9 times out of 10. He's quite strong in the air. He's just like bang, and I like that. He does turn like a truck still. Like, if you turn on him, he is like. It's taken him 2 minutes to turn, but he still has good qualities on the ball as well. He can play a ball out quite decently, even though he has some odd moments. But I would agree with Don. I think he's been pretty decent for the period that he's actually come in terms of if you compare him to all of the defenders this season. I think he's been pretty decent.
100%, bro. I think he's actually helped us. Like I said to you lot, we've only conceded 2 goals from corners this season in the league, right? And he helps with that, bro, because of his height. There's a lot of times where teams are whipping the ball and you just see Tosin just bat, you know what I mean? Last season, bro, we lacked height in the box and we struggled with that. You know, we conceded, many goals in the box, bro. I know Disasi was in there and obviously Cole was in there, but I think Toss is taller than both of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
way taller.
In the box. Yeah, he's like what, 6'6", maybe?
He's 6'5", 6'5".
Yeah, he's tall, bro. He's tall. But yeah, I think it's been steady, man. I'm personally, I would keep him as a squad player. I'll still keep him. He's one of the few players I would actually keep.
For sure.
He's been decent. How about Vega? Man?
Again, it's just hard to really explain, isn't it? Because again, it's such when we have seen him, he's played in that left back position. He's had some good games. He's had some questionable moments still in that position. But then I don't know if I criticise him too much because he's being asked to play left back because we don't trust Ben Chilwell when Kukurea is not about. I wanted to see him personally in the centre back position because I didn't think Colwill and Badia and all that were actually playing to the level where he couldn't have actually just experimented, in my opinion. And obviously he went to Juventus because he wanted to play in that position in January, and that was very clear and evident to see from our standpoint. But I like Vega. I think there's something there with him. I just need to see more because I don't know how I want to feel, if you know what I mean, until I see it. But I know at Juventus he's been doing quite well. So
I think he got injured recently, but I think he's back now.
Yeah.
I think he's back now.
So
Vega, honestly, bro. This is another player that I was showing you lot videos of this guy playing when he was 15, 16, just pinging the ball, very good on the ball in terms of that punch. I like when players can punch the ball from the back because you need to be able to find those little pockets, right? I know Gabriel and Saliba are very good defenders, but bro, when you watch these guys with the way they progress the ball, our defenders, bro, they don't progress it like our defenders, bro. I'll be so real. You know what I'm saying? And if he was still here, I would have started him ahead of Colwell, bro. Give him some minutes centre back and let him work. You know what I mean? And I think defensively, there's things that he can improve. I think he's a little bit too rash at times, but at least he's a little bit more physical than Colwell. He's gonna get onto man. Remember when he came on against Liverpool, bro, and he just Salah was trying to do. Salah even turned around, look, Vega was just looking at him, laughing at him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll probably say decent. I think in the Conference League he had some decent games. It's a shame that we had to loan him out because I like Vega. I can't lie. But yeah, I'll put him further down here, man. The decent. I'll put him like what? I'll probably even put him ahead of Cole. I'll be real, bruv.
He's ahead of Cole.
How are you guys?
Yeah, he's been decent. He was having some okay games in midfield. He likes a long ball. I think he's good on the ball for a defender when he's played there, and I think he's been actually really good at centre back when I've seen him play for Portugal. We could have actually utilised him there more in Conference League. But I think in general, we could have utilised him more. There were certainly games where we were winning. Like I was mentioning earlier, we were winning. We were 1-0 up. We can now bring on a defensive-minded player to help us see it out. Maybe put him there alongside a Caicedo or, just try something. But we did, again, this was on Maresca for not utilising guys like him more or maybe Felix more at a time,
Yeah.
Other players, Nkunku more in different situations. So,
yeah.
Decent. From what I'm hearing, he's been doing pretty good on loan. So I don't think we're going to get him. I think we're going to end up selling him, but he's going to probably have a decent career, if not a good career elsewhere. So yeah, man. There's not really much else we can say on the guy.
Yeah, 100. I think we're going to have to sell him because clearly he wants to play at centre back, and Maresca doesn't fancy him as a left back. So we're going to have to get Kyle Walker-Peters, aren't we, people?
Oh my. You just get rid of Baggy, Chile, and Disasi, and probably Chalobah, and you can keep Vega. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't need to get rid of him. Then he's a good left centre back option. Maybe even he gets in front of Cole if he don't sort himself out. Who knows?
No, right. Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna if we're planning to play this guy as a left back, sell him because he's not happy. Clearly, the rest will see him as one. You know what I'm saying? But Sancho, obviously, we spoke about Sancho earlier, so I'll leave it to you, man. Where should we rank him? Because we spoke about him earlier already. Decent season, yeah. Where are we putting him? I'll probably put him ahead of Kiel.
High, decent. Is he above Noni?
No.
Is he the best season?
Just I don't know because Noni's scored some important goals. It's hard, really.
I think there's fine.
When I was seeing Sancho in the Conference League, you could see that he was too good for that level, bro. Honestly, he was cooking in that tournament, bro. He was cooking, bro.
To be fair, I think Tottenham's a bit high, but obviously I'm not going to get into it too much in it. But
we'll stick with that.
That's all good.
I think that's a good list. Obviously, the rest of them here are all gone, bro. Chilwell is another one that's definitely gone. Cassidy, you've got Carney, you've got Bettinelli. This guy, bro, he's got the best job in the world, Man goes in, does training, does gym work, gets paid like what, 50 grand a week or something. ridiculous. And he's in charge of like the GCs and whatnot. But yeah, listen, very, very long stream. That's the longest stream I've ever done. I didn't expect it to be this long. I'm actually glad that was actually a 3-man panel today, bro, because otherwise it would have taken forever. So yeah, it worked out quite well. It actually worked out quite well, man. But listen, you two love for hopping on, man. And like I said, people, make sure that you're visiting their page, Motherland. They're in the description, right there. One of the caps that they put there. Like I said, this cap that I've got on is from Motherland as well, people. Check them out on Instagram and make sure that you check them out on the website as well, man. Some very good caps.
And also, can I say one thing? Don't follow the noise on Twitter, guys, about our own players. Yeah, just honestly, sometimes just don't fall into the short-term mindset that some of these Twitter trolls are over there. Because I've stopped going on Twitter as much as well because of certain individuals and the way that they analyze. They don't analyze. They're very narrow-minded and they just live for the moment. It's always about what's going on at the moment. They don't think about anything else. So like people like Sancho, just be a little bit more open with. And just see what happens till the end of the season.
Be more open with Caldwell, bro. Give him time, man. He's young. The young buck.
And a bit, people, man. Look
out. Wait, one set. Are you? Is it gone? Are we off? I just want to say quickly, big up the women, bro. The women, listen, they're having an amazing season in their own right. They're balling out. You got a Champions League semi-final, second leg coming up against Man City. But listen, they're on course to do the invincible thing in the league. Touch wood, hopefully they go all the way, but they're going to win the league again. Could go invincible. Won the Carabao Cup. They're still in the FA Cup, so they're having an incredible season, man. They're keeping up the standards. Big up Bon Pastor. Big up all the players. Lauren James has been cooking. Mauro Ramirez has been cooking. So listen, man, it's been a great season for the women. The men got to step this shit up.
They've got to step up, man, because look at the list of players here, bro. Next time we do this, I want to be listing bare man in very good. I want to be putting like 6 people in amazing seaon. You know what I'm saying? That's when you know the team.
So that Club World Cup trophy is sexy. We need to bring that back to Stamford Bridge, man. We need to be the first team to bring that back.
Who made it, Jeff? Who designed it, by the way, bro?
Who?
Tiffany and Cole, bro.
Okay, interesting.
Proper stuff. Yeah, Tiffany and Cole designed it, bro. That is some proper stuff. So
we like tournaments as well, man. So hopefully we get everyone fit and everyone available.
We would complete the whole set, you know. If we win that and the conference, we'd have every trophy that's ever been.
That'd be crazy. Chance, guys. Go and win it.
In a bit, people, man. Have a good evening. Enjoy your evening.
Love.
Peace.